Manny,
Yeah, tell us what.
Manny. So you have a pizza from where?
From Pizza Hut, and it's currently a KFC collab, Eric. So now listen, there's no tomato base in this pizza.
Did you get a white
It's all-
pizza?
It's all gravy, baby. It's all gravy.
Oh,
That sounds horrible. It sounds horrible.
oh.
It's the KFC and Pizza Hut. They're collab on this, and it just sounds horrible. It's the complete opposite of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak getting together. That ain't silk, baby. That's just sick. That just makes me sick. That's sick. But Manny has eaten this pizza like 8 times, right?
Oh, this is the second time I've eaten it.
Oh, I could have sworn you told me more. I don't know. Ah.
Oh. I'm completely disgusted as we open up the show about this gravy laden pizza from Pizza Hut that I'm assuming is a UK thing. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale, a.k.a. the Colonel.
Let me just tell you something. We have done cold openings before, but I have never been so disgusted where I have to go, oh, so many times. It just...
First of all, you walked off our own show. Me and Marcus's show about your favorite superstar, Keith Lee, Beef Lee, as we renamed you, to make yourself some salmon and...
Lox.
I don't even...
Salmon and lox, baby.
Bagel and lox.
Bagels and
lox. There's a bagel and lox. He could, you know what? If you made yourself a bologna sandwich, I would have been okay with that. But when you made bologna, bagels and lox, it enraged me. And you can see in the way I'm talking right now, it enrages me right now.
Well, Marcus, I'm
By the way,
happy to see that you can talk.
Yes, I can talk. I think the medicine worked. I took last night, even though you know how we have those review shows. They were supposed to come out earlier, but I was drowsy from my cough syrup. I was just out of it.
By cough syrup, he means various 4 doses of Jack Daniels throughout the day.
You know, I'm gonna give everybody a tease because I thought Manny was ready to take shots at me because he has something that he's holding over my head from when I attacked him. So I thought when I was talking about his gravy pizza desires that he was ready to get me, but he's not yet. So we'll see when he pulls his trump card on us.
Yeah, if you attack me, I'm coming for you.
So anyway,
it's like the greatest game of. It's like Russian roulette or Uno we're playing right now. When we plan on attacking each other, and you guys have no weapons against me, none.
Again, if you come for the king, or if you come for the Lord, you came to kill.
Hey, shit happens, man.
Hold on, Manny, don't declare the Lord. I would go after a Lord. I won't go after a king. And if I miss the Lord, I'll go, well, that's a bad day. That's a bad beat. We didn't get him. But I'm sure we can get him the next day.
Oh, no. At some point, I'm going to upgrade to king.
Well, everybody else seems to be doing that. Everybody else seems to be upgrading the king on the Smackdown roster.
So let me ask you, Marcus, please do not take one of my storylines, or actually one of the title of the show that royalty is in. We have royalty here. But Betty, so you said you're a lord, correct? So if you plan on being the king, I assume you plan on killing some princes, correct?
No, you just marry in, don't you? Like Triple H did.
No, I think it's a lot more to it. I mean,
Manny's got a plan.
I mean, the thing is, you guys have the monarchy, so I thought you might understood that more than I did, but I don't know.
I don't really have the monarchy anymore. It's not a monarchy anymore. It's very diplomatic.
Montez Redcut is already firing shots. He says, you telling me that the review show gets more views without you 3 on it? Well, you know, people are tired of us. When they see new faces, you know, it makes people excited. And what review show is he talking about? We're talking about the new Run In show that has been produced by Lord Manny Hayes, and Marcus the Grand Finale that debuted on the network this week. Gentlemen, congrats to you. If I had flowers, I would give them to you right now.
First of all, we debut a new show every week on this channel.
Second of all, I did very little towards this show. I may have helped Marcus confine the idea. I may have had to produce on one of the interviews, but Marcus did everything else. He edited. He came up with most of the idea. We just fine-tuned it in discussions where Eric refused to come to the discussion meeting.
I was at work, man. What can I do?
You come on the show all the time when you're at work.
Yes, but if you go back to that time when I was coming in, there was nobody in my courtroom. There is actually people who are bringing the COVID disease to me every day into my courtroom. So every day I go to work, I am risking my life. As Manny enjoys his gravy pizza.
Eric, you're not a police officer. You're not eating a gravy-filled pizza. You are not risking your life in the court.
Excuse me, sir. I was bumped up to tier 1B, which means that I'm eligible for the vaccine sometime in March, sir. And yes, I will get the vaccine, and then we should cover my effects of the vaccine live on the Sharpshooter channel.
Now, are you getting the Moderna?
I don't know.
What they're called. The Pfizer, or are you getting Johnson & Johnson? Because you better get the Johnson & Johnson.
No,
Marcus. Like Yeezy. That's the good shit.
So but the Johnson & Johnson sponsored own the Jets, so I'm not sure you want to be doing that.
Manny, let me ask this question: when you hear Johnson & Johnson, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Baby oil.
Baby oil. Okay, so this was. I had a whole show. This has been sidetracked. So I got a call from Ryan, aka the Boo Boo Bear, and he got upset at me because when he said, "When you hear Johnson & Johnson, what's the first thing that you hear?" And I said, "Baby shampoo." He was like, "Shampoo? What the hell is wrong with you?" Because he associates.
Oh, no more tears.
Yeah, he associates Johnson & Johnson with baby powder. Marcus, I believe you side with shampoo, correct? Also,
I started that conversation. It went shampoo. I was like, shampoo, Nick.
Yeah.
He was like, shampoo. Johnson don't do no shampoo. And then he looked it up. It's like, they have a shampoo? And I go, yes. He's like, but they do baby powder. And I was like, they also do baby oil. And he's like, yeah, I'm associated with babies, not shampoo. And so it went into that. And he called Eric. Eric said shampoo and said, I just owe all of you.
So I decided to call him back because I was asking Shantae and Alexis. Shantae went baby oil, kind of like Manny. And Alexis, no surprise, sided with Ryan with baby powder. So I asked the chat room, when you hear Johnson & Johnson, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Penis.
With that being said, gentlemen, congratulations on the run-in show. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, you have messed up that name 3 times. It's the run-in review show. There's no guns. There's no.
Hey, Marcus, let me tell you something. It wouldn't be the Saturday show unless I messed up on something. Am I right?
Yeah. You crossed for the last time, fucker.
So something that some people took a lot of liberty with this week was the releasing of the Wrestling Observer's 2020 awards, which could also be named the AEW awards. With that being said, gentlemen, I have a little game that we're going to play. I'm going to name you the award. I'm going to tell you the winner. I'm going to ask you, do you agree with this winner? And if not, who is your pick? And then I'm going to put the winner.
Series of questions.
Huh? I'm going to put
a game.
Wait, because I don't know any of this. Is it Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega versus someone, Kenny Omega, Worst wrestler probably, I don't know,
Manny?
Seth Rollins.
Manny, you were close, but no cigar. And then after we have this, I'm going to put the 2020 winner against the 2019 winner, and then you guys tell me who's the better of those two. So it's complicated. Hopefully we'll get through this.
This is science.
It is science because I'm coming up.
Statistical math.
So according to the Wrestling Observer, the 2020.
Can I cut you off for a second?
Go ahead.
Dave Meltzer released a statement about this already and saying that the people voted on this and they need to stop making it so toxic. Yeah, let's continue. Let's throw some more toxic. Let's make it more toxic.
Yeah, this was selected by the fans, and I don't take it seriously, but I think it's very good discussion. So, Wrestler of the Year, according to the Wrestling Observer, was Jon Moxley. Marcus, is Jon Moxley your 2020 Wrestler of the Year?
I'm going to say he is not, because, yeah, he's had some lengthy title runs and stuff, and he seems to be the top guy in AEW-ish. But overall, I got Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre probably ahead of him. Because Randy been doing work all year, and some of the best work of his career, in-ring, storytelling, compelling TV. He kept the people talking for an entire year. He attacked Beth Phoenix. I have to go with Randy Orton.
So Marcus takes Randy Orton over Jon Moxley. Manny, Wrestler of the Year. Do you agree Jon Moxley is the Wrestler of the Year, or do you have somebody else that you want to put there?
I don't agree. I would immediately side with Marcus with Randy Orton, but I would also give it to Drew McIntyre, pandemic champion, best pandemic champion of 2020.
So, Manny, so if I'm saying that...
Not only that, Manny, let's give him greatest pandemic champion of all time.
Yeah.
Because we're in the last 100 years.
So
I don't know. Pedro Morales probably was alive back then.
So, if I'm correct, your pick is...
Drew. Dragon.
Is Drew. So, what I also didn't tell you, now, after we do this, the vote will be the award of the Sharpie Award for Wrestler of the Year. So... I also do not agree that Jon Moxley was the Wrestler of the Year, and I am throwing my vote to win the 2020 Sharpie Wrestler of the Year to Randy Orton, because I think Randy Orton had the best 2020, and let's not forget that he won the WWE Championship, 15-time champion, one away from tying Rick and John Cena to have the championship. So congratulations to Randy Orton for winning the Sharpie Award.
Know why Randy wins Wrestler of the Year, Eric?
Why?
And this is pure kayfabe. He scared the Big Show so much he had to go to AEW.
So now
he sat his ass down. Was like, I don't want none of that.
So this is the first one for Wrestler of the Year from 2020 against the Wrestler of the Year from 2019. It's Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. Who would you take, Marcus?
I'll probably go. I think I'd go Moxley. I prefer his promos over. Kenny didn't really do. I don't remember what Kenny did in 2019. I think he sat out all year, right? And he left New Japan.
He fought Okada. He started the year off fighting Okada in Dominion.
Did he?
Yeah. Only reason why I know doing research for this part.
I feel like this is hard because I don't remember what people did in 2019.
Manny,
Kenny Omega. Are we breaking over their entire career-wise?
No, just...
Or are we just going with what they did in 2019?
Just go with
your... Because that's really hard for some unprepared motherfuckers.
Baby boy, just go with your gut, man. If you want to say Jon Moxley, because I'm going to say Jon Moxley. I don't remember the past.
I'm probably go Kenny Omega 2019. Forget it.
Okay. Manny, Moxley or Omega?
I'll give it to Mox. I think Kenny Omega's best year was 2018, possibly 17.
All right. So... most outstanding wrestler this year went to Kenny Omega. We don't have a competition at the end because he won most outstanding wrestler last year also in 2019. Now, Marcus, is Kenny Omega your most outstanding wrestler for 2020?
No. Outstanding? No. He wasn't even better than Ray Phoenix to me. It's in AEW.
How about that dive?
How about that dive? Hold up, Manny. I got controversy in the dive category this week. Like, for me, Cody Rhodes has been more outstanding, just in his lavishness of the 20 run. But Kenny didn't do nothing for me this last year. Like, last year, I think he was rubbing baby oil himself, getting punked by Marco's stunt. I can't give him that. I can't give him outstanding.
I think it's
2020. I don't even know what outstanding means.
So Marcus, it's kind of like the NBA where you have I don't know what it is, but so you don't have Kenny Omega. Who do you have?
Outstanding. I'm just gonna say Cesaro for no reason.
Okay, that's not who I would have went with. Manny,
for no reason. I wouldn't have went there either, but for no reason.
Manny,
I don't get it. I don't get this outstanding award. Is it like the runner-up to best wrestler?
In a way, it is. That's what it is.
So for me, good, but this guy's outstanding.
Yeah. So for me, if I gave best wrestler to Drew for being pandemic champion, the guy that follows to be outstanding, who had the best 2020 year after Drew, would be Randy Orton.
Hey, Manny, I agree with that logic, and I'm going to flip that logic because I've already given my wrestler a year for 2022, Randy Orton. So my most outstanding wrestler, the man who carried WWE through the pandemic, is the pandemic champion himself, Drew McIntyre. I think for what he was able to accomplish to increase his stock as a performer during a absence of fans is quite impressive. And I think that he has some very memorable rules. Marcus, I'm going to implore you, sir, to please change your pick from Cesaro so we can give most outstanding wrestler Sharpie to Drew McIntyre.
Can we just give it all to all of them? Because they're all deserving.
We could.
I don't agree with this outstanding award because I don't know what it actually means. Because I can always go Naito or Ibushi or something like that.
Marcus.
Or even go...
Think of the words to the song Outstanding. It makes you want to shout. Outstanding.
Marcus.
So outstanding.
Marcus, much like Dave Meltzer's reviews of and star ratings, they don't make sense. So go watch the run-in review show.
Oh, look, Manny messing up on the show too. All right.
No, you got it right. You got it right.
So, tag team of the year.
You can't get it right.
Tag team of the year. No surprise that the Young Bucks got it, apparently, somehow, some way. Manny, I go to you first. Were the Young Bucks the tag team of the year for 2020?
No. If you were going to give it to someone in AEW, I would have given it to Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Because they did hold those titles for long enough. But the tag team of the year for me was the Street Profits.
Marcus, I'm going to turn to you. Are the Young Bucks the tag team of the year for 2020?
As much as I think they are up in contention, I feel like they put in a lot of work in the tag team division. They helped a lot of people. I'm going to give it to the Bucks, but I think FTR is right there just because I don't think they had a full year. They didn't get the full year. But FTR was always a must-see TV whenever they have the tag match. Because it was really good. They were really having good matches. But I give it to the Bucks.
All right, Marcus gives it to the Bucks. For me, tag team of the year, I would agree with Manny. I like the work that the Street Profits was doing. I thought that they did something that I never thought that any team would be able to make me want to do. That was make Angelo Dawkins be someone I cared about.
Okay, so we've just been called biased in the chat.
Have.
So Eric, if you were to give, because Marcus did give an AEW answer for this, if you were to give someone in AEW this award, if you don't agree it was the Young Bucks, who would you give it to?
You mean for tag team of the year?
Yeah.
I would probably give it to FTR. I would probably go with the Revival because I think they were the only ones that brought any type of structure to the tag team division in AEW. And when they did debut, it was a big debut because they showed up and they did things of that nature. But for me, I still think that the Street Profits, for me, I could be more biased because I'm black. And considering that WWE didn't take tag team wrestling seriously, for the Street Profits to make it to where they made it to, I think that's even more impressive for me. I mean, because we can say that AEW is where tag team wrestling exists, but I don't think that they take tag team wrestling as seriously as they would like to think that we do because they have so many makeshift teams, and it's kind of hard for me to...
They got real tag teams.
They do, but the real tag teams don't get...
They don't have any makeshift tag teams.
They don't get featured because...
Like Hammock's not around anymore.
Well, we are all entitled to our own opinion. So,
Well, there was one thing. It was just like... I did fear for the Profits at one point before WrestleMania. Because they were doing those backstage skits for a very long time. So I did fear for them. And then they did turn it around since WrestleMania. So, credit to them.
That man Montez got the best frog splash in the game right now. So, wrestling match of the year. It was given to the Young Bucks and Young Bucks versus Adam Page and Kenny Omega from AEW Revolution. Marcus, do you agree? Was that the match of the year last year?
It's a good contender. That was a great match. It was probably my favorite AEW match of last year, to be honest. But it wasn't better than Walter versus Dragunov in NXT. And then it's not even as good as Okada versus Ibushi last year as well. So those two are my top 2 matches. And, the tag match might be third or so.
I'm going to agree with Marcus. Walter versus, how do you say his name, Marcus, again?
Ilya Dragunov
was by far my favorite match. Runner-up to that match for me, and yes, I'm WWE biased, I can't help it, was the first installment of Finn versus Kyle O'Reilly. Thought that was a great match where he broke his jaw. Really enjoyed that match. Manny, what was the match of the year for you?
See, I would give it to the Bucks and Kenny Omega and thing if it was the best tag team category match of the year, because that 100% is. But for me, of the way that match was for Walter and Dragunov, man, that just gives me chills just watching it again, because I've never seen pain like that in my life.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't watch WW NXT UK that much, but when I do, I'm always impressed with some of the performers that they have. And that match was like, wow, more people should see that match. This is why I wish Walter would show up at WrestleMania. New Master 69 said my favorite match was Stadium Stampede. That was a fun match, too.
That was great.
I would say that was a fun match. And one of the favorite moments from that is when the Inner Circle are posing and the Jumbotron and the fireworks are going off. I actually enjoyed that match.
That was on a Dynamite, actually, Eric. That was a Dynamite episode.
Oh, it was? Shit, I don't know. I'm so confused. Damn. All right. The Women's Wrestling MVP. I'm going to say I agree with this pick. They went with Bayley. I agree for the simple reason. I felt for a long time Bayley got out the shadow of Sasha Banks this year, and she was the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion, and I'm okay with Bayley. Marcus, what about you?
Down with Bayley. I would just say Charlotte to piss off the world, though. But Bayley, I gave it to Bayley.
Manny, what about you? Bayley or no?
Hey, we want some Bayley. Hey, we want some Bayley.
I think it's no surprise that we are somewhat Bayley biased in this. Ding dong.
Hold on. You know who should be a runner-up, though? Asuka did the damn thing in Pandemic, all right? She was screaming on every single show that she had. She was spitting in people's faces. Asuka ran the table of the Pandemic, basically, for a moment. And then Bayley broke out to her own.
Can I give a special shout out to Kairi Sane's flute or recorder, because that was my favorite moment of 2020.
All right, so gentlemen, controversial. This could be most improved. They have selected Britt Baker as the most improved of 2020. Marcus, is she your pick?
Maybe. It's really hard to tell who improved, especially last year. But somehow with Bayley being Wrestler of the Year, she did improve that mic game a lot. She stepped up her heel game up a lot of points. So there's part of me that wants to go Britt Baker, because Britt Baker had nothing. She was coming out there celebrating her in Pittsburgh, and you were like, I don't honestly care. And she was coming out being a dentist. And then heel Baker became something more. So I can agree with them with Britt Baker. Why not?
Manny, what about you?
So I will give it to someone from AEW, but I will not give it to Britt Baker. Serena Deeb. She's been killing it.
But Manny, that might be more 2021 than 2020.
It's only February. She's been back for a while.
You could be right.
It's been like a month. I feel like it's been a month. Well, no, I would give Serena Deeb 6th Person of the Year award, because she just came out basically just being a trainer to now running the entire women's division in AEW.
So, gentlemen, I put a lot of thought into this, and I'm going to surprise people.
Shock value.
I'm about to surprise people, because I'm going to keep my most improved wrestler in AEW, and it is a female. I'm going to go with the native beast, Nyla Rose. I thought Nyla Rose had a really good 2020 where she improved in the ring, and I started to believe that she was the monster that she was billed as. She had a lot of false starts where she was taken away and started up, and then she got paired with Vicky Guerrero. But I thought from where she started in 2019, I thought that she improved a lot in that women's division that needed a lot of help. So I'm going with Nyla Rose. So I stay with AEW.
Nah.
So
who gets the award?
Nobody. I stopped that award thing because I had to move this on. Feud of the year: Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Marcus, is that your feud of the year?
What, did that last a week?
I don't know.
No. That can't be feud of the year. My feud of the year has to go. I'm going to the Wayback Machine, and it has to be the short feud of Edge and Orton for the greatest wrestling match of all time. Him attacking his wife, attacking Ruby and Lyric. I got to go with Edge and Orton being the best feud of the year.
Marcus, let me tell you something real quick. I need to backtrack because I want to nix Nyla Rose because New Master 69. You know what? I got to jump out of AEW. I got to jump out of AEW, Marcus. Most improved last year. I'm going to get him. Jey Uso. Jey Uso he broke out.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Main event Uso. That's not a bad choice.
I mean, Jey Uso, you know what?
That's not a bad choice.
Bravo, New Master 69. I agree. He was the guy that no one would ever said that, hey, Jey Uso will be a main event someplace. And I think that I'm going to get him. And he even kept getting him on SmackDown and apologizing. But Roman's okay when he actually wins. So what was your feud of the year, Marcus? I'm sorry.
Is it wrong for me to say that Roman Reigns could win Most Improved of the Year just by turning heel?
He could. Technically he could.
Like, he kind of stepped up his game. But just say he improved more than Jey Uso to me. But feud of the year is Randy and Edge.
Randy and Edge. Randy.
No, I kind of wanted the Tribal Chief to win something with this, but that's really it.
Manny, Jon Moxley or Eddie Kingston, or do you have another feud of the year?
So I've got Bayley and Sasha versus the entire women's division throughout the summer, which led to Bayley and Sasha. I felt like that was great storytelling all the way through.
Manny, I agree with you. I'm going with Bayley and Sasha.
But, the Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley story was like 2 weeks, though.
Yeah, it was too short.
It was a good, they talked it up. They did their promos, and they were amazing in it. But it was just like, it was over. It seemed like it should have continued for a lot longer. And then we finally get the end, I guess, last week or 2 weeks ago at the 6-man tag, I guess. But it just seemed like that was really quick.
All right, moving on to most charismatic, MJF, and who won the award. Marcus, is he your most charismatic enigma?
At the start of the year, maybe, but I feel like Eddie Kingston is still more charismatic than him. Eddie Kingston, whenever he talks, I gotta listen. He just talks. He's the best pro guy in the game.
So you're going most charismatic as Eddie Kingston. Manny, yes. MJF, or are you sticking with Eddie Kingston?
I think the pandemic affected MJF more than most people seem to think because it's harder to get the fans to hate him when he's not there. Because, realistically, wrestling fans are now just watching that and then thinking, yeah, he's kind of cool. I cheer for the bad guy. But, most charismatic, I still got to give it to Bayley.
Manny is riding the Bayley train. Now, can I ask this question?
You're worse than Meltzer giving everything to Kenny Omega.
I'll give everything to Bayley. Actually, no. Correction. I'll give it to the unofficial, but she should be official, member of the Sharpshooters. Mostly the Untitled Mania, Marcus Shaw.
Oh, no. I know he's going
to. Okay, absolutely charismatic. Manny, for tag team of the year, I'm shocked you didn't go Bayley and Sasha. They were a legit tag team for a whole year.
So for me, I think MJF was charismatic. However, I felt that his charisma never led to anything. Because right now he's in the inner circle doing something. I think for me, although it wasn't that much work that this individual put in, but I think the person who I could not take my eyes off of, and with all due respect, all hail the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, I think Roman Reigns was the must-watch thing. I think you could not, when Roman showed up, you listened. When he sat in his great chair, it's right there. When you looked at Paul stare at Roman, yes. And then his feud with Jey Uso, I go with Roman Reigns for most charismatic this year. That's where I give the award to.
So no one's going with the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy.
No. Just like Jeff Hardy didn't belong in that Elimination Chamber match, he don't belong right then and there. So, Marcus.
How come Feud of the year is it Sheamus and Jeff Hardy when he was just
goes on forever.
It's still going.
Marcus,
it's still going. We got a match for Raw.
Most overrated went to The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree. The Fiend draws interest, and he is what he is. It's not about the matches he does. It's about the performance and the show around everything. This gimmick was doomed to fail right off the bat, and it was just like, oh, this is something amazing. Yes, he lost to Goldberg. That was a hiccup. That was a hiccup into an otherwise great run as a character. So I'm not going to give overrated to The Fiend. Overrated, I'm going to give. I don't know. I haven't thought this through. You see, each one you gotta give us notes. At least let me think.
I could go to Manny while you think about it.
Yeah, go to Manny.
Manny, is The Fiend the most overrated to you?
No.
Who is your most overrated? Do you have your person, or should I just name mine?
I think you should name yours.
All right, so I do not agree with Bray Wyatt being the most overrated because I think Bray Wyatt, during this period, gave some compelling TV. I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the most overrated, and I'm ready to accept the dislike and the hate that I'm about to get right now. I'm going with Chris Jericho. I feel like Chris Jericho, that ship had sailed, and it's at a point where I just needed him to be off of my TV in 2020, but he kept being on that TV.
I don't think he's overrated. I think he's overdone.
Well, I mean, whatever you want to call it.
Like, the first half of the year was good, but then it just became like, I don't think I need this anymore.
I've got mine now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So much like Eric, it is from AEW. This man once lived in my heart. As Rusev Day.
Oh.
Miro has been the biggest disappointment for me since joining AEW because they had something with straight fire that they could have ran with, and they didn't. And look at him now. Look at him now.
Manny, you persuaded me.
Look at me.
Manny, you persuaded me. I'm joining. Jericho is safe. Miro is the most overrated.
Don't do it to Miro.
I just did it.
Don't do it to Miro.
The best man, Miro.
He deserves it.
He does. He does. Because let me just tell you something, Marcus. We did not believe when people say Vince didn't see anything in Miro. We said, you know what? Vince is wrong on this one. Vince is wrong. Miro is a star. He is a beast. And guess what? As of right now, Vince is right. He's right.
Do you know the only beast on AEW? It's the native beast, Nyla Rose.
Yes. So, Marcus.
I had it until you guys brought up Miro, and I forgot who I was going to say. And they were completely overrated.
They
were completely overrated.
Brian Cage?
No. Ooh, that was a good one. But it's not his fault. It's just the way they book him. Miro books himself. I'll play Miro.
New Master says, I don't think Miro's rated at all, so he can't be overrated. That's, dang.
No, man. He had it. As much as we like to think he doesn't have it now, he had it when he was like in WWE. It was that bullshit bit where it was his last run, last thing he had to do in WWE that killed him. And now AEW can't pick up the pieces.
You know, honestly, can I say something? I know we didn't say this at Most Improved, but I think Lana should get a mention. Lana put some work and went through a lot of tables, and she has improved her craft to a respectable level. And I'm
blood, sweat, and wood.
Marcus, so who are you going with? Overrated, sir?
Oh, I remembered them. It was Keith Lee. Keith Lee ended up most overrated.
Okay.
He had a good start. He had a really good year. But he fell apart when he went to the main roster. And everybody talking about, talking about you should do this with Keith Lee, and this should happen with Keith Lee. I'm just so sick of the talk of everybody trying to deconstruct what is wrong with Keith Lee, how can they get good work with Keith Lee. I feel like a star should be able to just make it work no matter what their situation is.
I see that, but is that just not because Vince doesn't understand what Keith Lee is? Because I feel like Triple H got it in NXT.
Yeah.
I think also too.
Yeah.
So most underrated. They gave it to Ricochet. Marcus, is Ricochet your most underrated performer? Or do you have somebody else?
As much as I like Ricochet, he's He has no charisma. He can't talk whatsoever. He can't do what Cedric's doing in the Hurt Business. He couldn't play that role. I'm just saying that he's a charisma void. Underrated, you have to go with, I'm going with the man that's always there. Cesaro is always there, doing all the work. Doesn't get rated enough.
We should rename this the Cesaro Award for most underrated, because I was willing to go with Bobby Lashley until you brought up Cesaro, because I think both Bobby Lashley and Cesaro in 2020 suffered. They really didn't get any notoriety. Like, Cesaro was paired with Nakamura as a tag team, and he did win tag team championship. But then Bobby Lashley,
2020, Bobby got Lana.
Bobby got Lana in the highest rated segment ever. And then he ended up in the Hurt Business.
Yeah, look where he is now. He's in much better place.
That's why Cesaro still gets the award, Manny. But I'm saying that Bobby Lashley was on track to be disappointing. Who do you got, Manny?
This is how good Cesaro was. He was in a tag team with Nakamura for no damn reason whatsoever. And he made the championship lounge a thing that they still didn't let it happen. No matter what Cesaro does, it seems to work. And it's just, they never do anything with it.
All right, so we're going to go to the next. I'm sorry, Manny, sorry.
Yeah.
So Marcus brought this up on our show a few weeks ago, that it was his dream to be given a neutralizer by Cesaro. So I am going to pick Cesaro just so Marcus can keep his dream alive.
New Master 69 said he would like to mention Frankie Kazarian. I could also throw in Scorpio Sky. I mean, there's a lot of people who are not being used. Jungle Boy didn't get used enough in 2020. Know who got used too much? The bad boy, Joey Janela. He got used too much.
I think he's been used the same amount as Jungle Boy.
All right, so
I agree with.
Hold on. For AEW, Pride and Powerful were underused, and also the Lucha Bros as well. Like, I feel like more could have happened. Scorpio Sky apparently was injured all this time.
So Marcus,
for like the last 3 weeks.
We got 2 more awards to go. Best gimmick. The award went to Orange Cassidy. Is that your best gimmick of 2020?
It's a gimmick. It is a gimmick, to be honest. But it was solid. But I don't think he beats Alexa Bliss's Fiend. / Fiend. The whole Fiend shit. All that mystical power shit that goes along with that.
So you give it to Alexa Bliss.
I'll give it to the Fiend / Alexa Bliss storyline.
All right, Manny.
That's very gimmick.
For you, best gimmick.
Have you seen her resume? Best gimmick. Right,
Manny,
coming up second, it's your boy, my boy, Cameron Grimes.
But Manny,
oh, wow.
Are we talking about money, Grimes? Because isn't that a 2021 thing?
No, my friend. The Cameron Grimes to the moon is by far one of the best gimmicks on NXT. He's delusional, everything. Just the fact that he's got money is elevated that his original gimmick.
Damn, Manny. Why you trying to do that to me? Because you know I
pick your boy, man. Pick your boy.
Because I got to. Because I wasn't going to pick him. But
who would you originally have?
I was going to go with the best gimmick that I thought was entertaining, but it really didn't deliver. But if we're just talking about gimmicks, I thought Karrion Kross on NXT, the dark, the smoke and all, I thought that it started off well. But true, Karrion Kross is not the man that I thought he was. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out why Scarlett is making the faces that she makes throughout matches. But once Manny said that we were going to the moon,
he was concerned.
I have strapped that rocket to my ship, to my back, and I'm going straight to the moon with Cameron Grimes as the best gimmick of 2020.
And you know what Karrion Kross's gimmick can do? Kiss my grits.
Manny, I can just hit it for you. You can kiss my grits. There we go.
Still on the board.
It's still on the board. Mark, it's going to stay on the board because I'm always going to the moon with Cameron Grimes.
Shout out to all the gimmick guys out there, though, like the Dexter Loomises.
Gimmick as well.
But Betty, we have to admit that Dexter Loomis' gimmick was enhanced because of Cameron Grimes being scared of him.
100%.
So, Marcus, the worst gimmick was given to the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Marcus, who was your worst gimmick for the year 2020? 2020.
I don't even know. I'm going to go with the return of Broken Matt Hardy or Woken Matt Hardy during the pandemic. It just didn't work anywhere.
Okay.
It didn't work.
So for me, I'm not going to give it to the Fiend. I'm going to give it to the best man, Miro. I was against this gimmick since day one.
It's not even a gimmick. It's the title of a name. It's
just a title.
It was nothing.
That's like saying Mike Tyson's a gimmick. His name's Iron Mike Tyson. Yeah, he didn't live up to that iron part.
You know what? I'm a fan of Rusev, and I don't like where his direction. I need someone to have the intervention and talk to him and let him know. You know, this is not right, baby. This is not right. Manny, worst gimmick.
So it's the man that had the most unnecessary entrance on AEW this week, Mr. Brandon Cutler.
Well, this week.
Betty, this is 2021. You have to save that one. But Brandon Cutler, his entrance can go suck an egg.
No, but I believe he's had it all the way through 2020.
This was the first time I've ever seen it.
This is the first time he probably appeared on that Dynamite. But he has the worst gimmick.
His gimmick is that he's friends with the Young Bucks.
No. His gimmick is that he likes TNT.
Is he worse than Peter Avalon?
Marcus, get it right. Gimmick? Pretty Peter Avalon.
No, before he was Peter Avalon, I'm talking about just Peter Avalon. Well, he was the librarian.
That's the man?
What you call those? Him and, what's that fool's name?
Blue
and Luchasaurus should be considered for worst gimmick as well. He is a dinosaur. He just needs to be a man. Grow the hell up. Be a man.
Yeah, but we had this discussion when you got offended about being Batman just being a man. Yeah, but we won't go there.
Batman's never been seen. The Batman has never tried to be a dinosaur. That's all I'm saying.
Trying to be a bat.
He's trying to be a man that is a bat.
No, he's trying to be a Batman. He's
not Marcus, I will point out that Batman
up to the gimmick.
Marcus, Batman is a grown ass man in cosplay trying to fight crime. That's what he is, with a lot of money
and white privilege.
You make him black like they're thinking about doing Superman, and when the world go blow up when that happens. It's gonna be. It's.
Why do y'all create some controversies like shit like that?
Podcast listeners, what you can't see right now is Marcus looks like he's about to cry as we dissect Batman.
Marcus, Marcus, as someone pointed out many years ago, or it could even been this year, the one thing that can stop Batman is not the Joker, it's not the Riddler, it's not the Penguin, it's the IRS. Once they do an audit on his finances, he's going to jail for a long, long time. That man has been embezzling money to so many different entities so he can have his bat toys. He's going to jail, Marcus. He's a criminal. He's a thug. He's a thug.
Batman is proof that mental health is still a problem in America, okay?
So that concludes what they had, whatever. There's one thing that they did not have on the list, and this is an award that I would like to give out, and this is the Disappointing Wrestler of the Year. This award goes to the person who disappointed you the most this year in professional wrestling.
You get Promoter of the Year and all that?
I didn't care about all that. Yeah, I didn't care about those, because whatever. But when I want to go first on the person who disappointed me the most this last year in professional wrestling, and this is a man that we all had high hopes for.
Miro.
No, it's not Miro.
Miro.
There was somebody that was more disappointing than Miro. This man, Marcus, we had actually strapped the rocket ship to his back. Patrick disappointed us all with his extracurricular activities, getting caught up in scandals and things of that nature, and he let the dream fade. The Velveteen Dream.
It's not his fault if he's innocent.
You shouldn't be put in the situation, baby. Velveteen
Dream.
Know.
You can't stop yourself from being in a bad situation.
Velveteen Dream disappointed me this year, and that's my pick for Disappointing Wrestler of the Year. I hope he.
You saying he's guilty?
No, I said he disappointed me, sir. Because a person that
Lars Sullivan's about Disappointment of the Year. He did all that shit to himself.
Marcus, the point that you had any hope for Lars Sullivan tells me I'm disappointed in you, and this is why you're a Batman supporter.
I just feel like this war doesn't make any sense. You just want to tell Velveteen Dream under.
Manny, who was your most disappointed wrestler of the year?
So I'm going to talk like him.
Keith Lee.
Because I do not want to bask in his glory. Because he sucks. It's Keith Lee.
Wow. Manny with the Keith Lee. Marcus, who disappointed you the most?
Well, if you're going Velveteen Dream, I'm going Austin Theory. Or the entire NXT UK roster. and plus Marty Scurll. How about I just put Marty Scurll in there? The villain he seemed like he had prospects. He showed up everywhere. He seemed like he was just going to make money everywhere, being the little man he is. And then it turns out just bad things after bad things. The entire UK wrestling community is the disappointment of the year.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little award segment. If you guys agree or disagree, or you have any,
there were like 8 awards you missed out on that thing.
Marcus, we just went 50 minutes on this. Did you really want me to include?
We shouldn't have went that long. I'm just saying.
But Marcus, you're just like the tribal chief right now, Marcus. You're double talking, like Roman did this week, where he says for the previous weeks, Edge, you need to choose me for the main event. I am the main event. This is no choice. Then once Edge chooses him, you know what? You don't need to fight me. I don't want to hurt your family. I don't want to hurt you. Marcus, you need to make up your mind. You can have me talk about the other categories, or I should have cut it short. You cannot be the tribal chief.
When we talked about this last night going, hey, we're going to talk about this thing, I didn't think we were going to have a whole thing going one by one. I thought we were just going to talk about shit in general. And then you added the award ceremony and made it convoluted. You made this that long.
Personally, I enjoyed it. I have nothing against what I did. But Marcus, do you agree with Roman Reigns now trying to protect Edge after he wanted Edge to face him at WrestleMania?
We're in Smackdown now?
We're in Smackdown now, Marcus. We transitioned over to Smackdown.
All right. No, it's what he's supposed to do. He don't want none of this. Like, you do this age at 47, 48, 90 years old, want some of the tribal chief in his prime era. He don't want none of that. He gonna die. And Roman Reigns don't want it. Roman Reigns has said consistently that he doesn't want to look like the bad guy on TV. And Edge, being a 90-year-old man, is going to make him look like a bad guy when he mollywop him all across Raymond James Center, or Arena, or Stadium, or Dome. I don't know what this is called.
Man, it seems like Roman, took some of the pages out of Randy Orton's playbook from last year about how to deal with Edge. Do you think that Roman is really the family man that he plays to be, and he really is concerned about the well-being of Edge when he wanted Edge week in and week out to challenge him and be the main event?
So, Eric, I think I said this on Tuesday. I need Roman Reigns to take a visit to NXT on Wednesday and spear Beth Phoenix.
Well,
and I need it to happen.
Well, Manny, see, this is where you mess up, because Roman would never make that trip, because he has a henchman who can go and super kick Beth Phoenix, and that is Jey Uso. I would just send Jey Uso. Huh?
He's really overworking his henchman.
No, he only got one.
I need to handle Daniel Bryan, and I also need you to handle Beth Phoenix.
No, let me point out something, Marcus. Marcus, you're
McIntyre may think about coming here.
Marcus,
so I need you to go there a little bit.
If you're a boss, that's what you do with your henchmen. Look at Santos Escobar. He sends Joaquin Wild and Renee, whatever his name is, out all the time.
Oh, Mendoza.
Yeah, I was called
Renee.
Yeah.
Hey. Renee Young out there.
No, but Marcus, Roman did not send Jey after Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan got into the ring, disrespected Roman, saying that only reason why he won is because he was beat up because he had beat 6 other people in the Elimination Chamber. And then Jey Uso decided to pop off because even though they celebrated the ass whooping Jey gave, backstage, Jey apologized for overstepping his bounds, but Roman was okay with it. Manny, that's how you handle judgment.
I think Roman was more upset that Daniel Bryan alluded to, oh, did you not want to, I thought you were the main event. I didn't think you were going to face me straight after. Would that give me enough time to recover?
In other words, he called him a bitch.
More annoyed about that.
He was really upset about that because that is a shot. I didn't expect you to be in the second match. Like, yeah, I was like, you son of a bitch.
Well, Daniel Bryan spent the night pissing people off because Edge was politicking in the back top. But wait a minute, I won the Royal Rumble, damn it! I announced who I'm going to fight. How dare Daniel Bryan get this opportunity to fight for the WWE Championship if he beat Jey Uso tonight? I don't approve of this. Marcus,
see, this is what I miss. This is what I missed about old school Royal Rumbles, because you remember whenever they win the Royal Rumble back in the day, they would always say they get a title shot at WrestleMania, whoever the champion may be.
Yes.
They don't say that anymore. It's always like, who are you going to fight? This person or this person now. I don't care about that. I want the blanket, I don't know what's going to happen to WrestleMania kind of thing happening.
You want that back. So you don't like knowing that the main event right now, when you have a pay-per-view in between, is Roman versus Edge. You like the ambiguity that it could be Roman or Daniel Bryan that faces Edge.
Yeah, because it's February. The thing is happening in April.
Marcus, do you think that Edge is justified and upset that Bryan has this opportunity for a title shot?
I think Edge needs to mind his damn business. Shouldn't care what Daniel Bryan doing. Like, I was like, I don't see how this affects me at all. And Adam Pearce said, Edge, you're not booked until April. Go home. Take care of your kids. Like, leave us alone. You won the Rumble. Whoopity-doo. Let us do our business here. Okay? Daniel Bryan want to go at the Edge, at the Roman. Let him do it at Fastlane. All right? It has nothing to do with you. Although Edge needs to jump in. It was like, hold on, brother. Do you think me and Christian teaming up to take on the Usos would be a bigger match? Let's do it, man. Nope. Roman, I don't know why Edge's upset.
He's an old, crappy old man. So, gentlemen, what do you guys think about the momentum that Otis and Chad Gable are getting in the tag team scene?
2 wins?
In Smackdown. This is 2 wins. This is 2 wins that...
Some of the Mysterios, everybody done beat the Mysterios.
It's not 2 wins. They got disqualified last week.
Yeah, they got disqualified last week, Marcus. This is their first win.
Right. That replay, they kept showing Otis jump on Rey Mysterio and stuff last week or whoever, and it made it look like he was winning. It made it look like they won.
Marcus,
that's just 1 in a row. They have no momentum. Can
you make money with Otis and Chad Gable?
Absolutely. This is a better version of
Tucker Knight.
Heavy machinery. Like, I got a better wrestler. I upgraded. It was like doing a trade, and you was like, oh, for real? James Harden is now my running mate, and KD. That's what just happened right now. Because Tucker Knight is a waste of time.
Where is Tucker Knight?
Well, what I like about it is
that with Rick Moss, with Dabba-Kato, and the rest of Raw Underground.
What I like about the new Alpha Academy is how the announcers continue to allude that Otis is his prize pupil, which means that it could be other pupils that we don't know about that could play dividends down the road. I mean, I think I'm almost enjoying this ride.
They're not invested.
I know they're not, but I'm enjoying this ride. Manny, are you enjoying the Gable Otis ride?
Retribution.
No, I'm still not sold on Otis. Like, I don't know what Vince sees in him that's this is my guy.
I like Otis.
No, what you don't see, Manny, is that we don't have fans. Fans and kids love fucking Otis. Although Otis is a bad guy right now.
Not anymore.
Well, maybe not.
He killing the Rey Mysterio. Jesus. Now you don't get more heinous than that. Can I also give a shout to your disappointment of the year to the death of Raw Underground and Retribution? Both arise around the same day. Both are about to be completely annihilated before the year of their birth.
Yeah, because Mustafa Ali had enough of it on Monday Night Raw. Don't know why he had enough. But it was like, you guys, they lost to the New Day, right?
And how dare you say, upsetting, worst gimmick might be Retribution. That Mace exists. And T-Bar, Dominic Dijakovic, a quality wrestler, is forced to do this every single week with Mace.
I like how you're just pinning this all on Mace.
I like it. Hold on, Mia Yim is in this. Like, Retribution has sacrificed maybe 2 good wrestlers and Shane Doors. Shane Doors had to be slapjacked for whatever reason. Mia Yim is going by reckoning, even though Mia Yim is a capable wrestler and could be the new daddy on Raw. When they need women to wrestle on Raw, she's not there.
But Marcus, you could easily
you have T-Bar, who is everything I think Vince wants in a size of an athlete, and he does all the flippy shit. But yet he's there, but he has to be made and trolling people on Twitter.
But Marcus, you can do something that you can say that you really can't do in most instances in WWE. You can go and you can stop calling Reckoning and just have her debut as Mia Yim. You could go and have
like the referee did, like when she had a seizure or whatever, she had a fit in the middle of the ring. And the referee was like, Mia, are you okay?
Yeah.
Mia, are you okay? Are you okay, Mia?
Or
basically,
you could take T-Bar, take the mask off, give him his red tights again, and call him Dijakovic. And everything will be right. And you can give Mace his walking papers. And then you can let Mustafa Ali do what he needs to do. I mean, Marcus, it's not like they can't fix this situation.
Eric, I'm ashamed of you.
Why?
You have offered out walking papers to the only black man in retribution during Black History Month.
Manny? Because you know why? Because I have two more prominent black men who have celebrated the month so well. First, let's talk about Brother Bobby with his pink suit.
He wouldn't be kicking out the Retribution is a very multicultural group. Mia Yim is still technically black, so
I believe I speak on behalf. I speak on behalf of the black delegation that we don't want Mace. We haven't wanted Mace since he was punked by Brock Lesnar that time, and he disappeared off the commentating table. I'm through with that fool right there.
The quote of Wise Man, I believe it's Manny. The only Mace we want is for bad boy.
Yes, exactly. He makes us feel so good. With that being said, jumping into Monday Night Raw, Bobby Lashley had probably his best showing on Raw in a long time because he came out in that fire pink suit and he let Miz know, you might be champion now, but we made a deal. And you got 60 minutes to make this shit right. And I swear to God that, as I've said week in and week out about wrestling shows, you need to give me something at the beginning that makes me want to keep tuning in. In that countdown, every time they showed the clock, I was like, Miz gonna get his ass kicked.
That was not an hour. It was 40 minutes. And I saw the clock. He didn't say the top of the hour. Bobby Lashley said you had an hour. Miz had 40 minutes to come up with some idea. It was outrageous that the Raw delegation, that the Raw committee wanted the Miz to get his ass beat. It was like watching a kid at the end of school, like, I see you in the playground after school. Oh, shit. And the clock was just ticking away, faster than it could ever go.
I mean, the thing about it, though, I thought Miz played the role extremely well. Like, he's always strikes me as a guy, yeah, I'll make a deal with the devil, but when it's time to pay the debt, I'm not going to pay this debt. He knew he wasn't going to pay that debt. Bobby knew he wasn't going to pay that debt. MVP knew he wasn't going to pay that debt. But Bobby knew one thing that Miz wasn't going to do. Bobby was willing to whoop Miz's ass and almost kill that man to get what was his. A man dressed in a pink suit, you have to be worried about for the simple reason he's walking around like the Pink Panther. He's out to kick ass and take names.
He look like a giant piggy bank.
Man.
He look like a giant piggy bank.
All right, I will put that suit on the second, man. I was ready.
You know what? It brought me back to when Mark Henry meant business when he wore that pink suit too.
Exactly. His salmon colored suit. It's something about a black man being in that suit. And honestly, everything that happened in between that moment when Bobby Lashley put that countdown on, no one cared about Riddle defeating John Morrison. No one cared about the New Day and Retribution. It was about what is going to happen to Miz and if Bobby Lashley go get the title shot that he needed. Then all of a sudden, fucking Braun Strowman shows up and interferes. I thought it was a good save.
White privilege.
It was a good save. It was a good save. I mean, Shane came out. He made this match and stuff of that nature. I thought that it was like a good version of bait and switch, but at the same time, I was a little upset because I wanted Miz to get his ass kicked. Marcus, how did you feel about Braun Strowman inserting himself into the main event? And were you worried that Bobby Lashley would not be facing Miz next week?
Braun Strowman was the definition of white privilege and not understanding that he is not in the line for a title shot here on Monday Night Raw. He has done nothing. He's done nothing. He shows up and he's going like, I need a title shot, when he's done nothing on Monday Night Raw. The last time we saw him on Raw, he was getting suspended. He's done nothing on this show. And he keeps throwing around, I was Universal Champion. No one remembers that run. No one remembers that.
And it was last year and no one remembers it.
Yes. You lost your title, I think, in a swamp match. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
The thing I'm more worried about is the fact that we might be getting a Shane McMahon return to face off against Braun Strowman. And I'm worried about that.
Manny, I'm not worried about that because one thing about WrestleMania, I always need a bathroom break or let me go freshen up my meal that I'm eating plate. And Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman can be that match that I need it to be.
They're going 25, man. They're going to go 25 for no reason.
Sometimes you got to take a long 25 minutes, man. You know, sometimes you got to take 25 minutes, man.
I don't want that.
Hold on. We're going to be doing this one live again.
Oh, we are? Shit. Damn.
That was the original plan.
That was the plan.
Oh, okay. Well, damn. I better get me a cup.
2 nights. 2 nights.
Marcus, and Manny, my question for you, because I think this is the only thing that we really need to talk about on Raw. Does Bobby get the championship next week, or does Miz find a way to get out of it?
I don't know. The way Raw ended, it gave me chills of him not winning. Like him holding up that title, the happiness over his eyes. If they were going to give it to him, I felt like they would have just did it on this Raw. And I think it's going to lead to something at the Fastlane, where he will get the title at Fastlane. But shenanigans are going to happen next week.
Yeah, I also feel shenanigans will happen next week. I think Fastlane is where he will win the championship. But, you know, you never know. Like I said, though, it was what got me hooked to watching Raw and made Raw very watchable before the simple reason. And at the end of the day, the Bobby Lashley-Strowman match, I was concerned that it was going to end up being a triple threat match because I thought, you know, Strowman was going to win, but I was glad that Bobby got that win. I was very happy with that win.
Bobby whooped that ass. He whooped that ass. Bobby whooped that ass.
Now, jumping back into the SmackDown realm, we have more royalty in WWE. This man, after killing Big E last week.
Why are we jumping all over the place?
Just because I have my Raw SmackDown report. Because pretty much Bobby and Miz was the only thing I was going to talk about on Raw. And
Eric, before you continue with this segment, are you going to change accent in the middle of this portion when you retell this part of the story?
Manny, no, because my accent is all from the same place, and it's called bad.
Belgium.
It's bad. I don't have a good accent. But
Fooled me.
But
I was a young boy.
let me tell you. First, Apollo Crews decided that he was going to tell us how he's really a real African American, where he took a shot at every black person in the country who ain't never been to Africa or don't know anything about Africa. And he also auditioned to be a part of Black Panther Part 2 because he showed his accent is better than Angela Bassett's. Marcus.
Why would you take a shot at Angela Bassett, being a 70-year-old woman? But, you gotta be more current. Coming to America 2 was coming down the street. He should have been auditioning for that. Coming to America 2.
But Marcus, Coming to America 2 has already been shot. They haven't shot Black Panther Part 2.
They're never going to shoot a Black Panther movie again.
Marcus, Apollo Crews. Speak on him, sir.
What? That he's now royalty and that he joins the long line of royalty on SmackDown with King Corbin, King of Strong Style, Tribal Chief / the King of the Islands of Relevancy. Who else? There's so much royalty on that show. And I guess it makes sense when he was talking to Roman to get in touch with you. And like, if he brought that up, I would have been more for it. But it was fine. I enjoyed it. You know, he's angry. Big E's dead.
Manny, are you ready to jump on the Apollo Crews bandwagon and leave Big E into the back?
I'm not leaving Big E. Big E's my boy.
Okay.
But I appreciate that Apollo Crews has finally got his shit together. Realized his Nigerian roots and turned it into a gimmick because evil Apollo is so cool.
Yes, he is. It's like these colors represent everything, wealth, and I'm like, shit, this man he's amazing right now. And
he was a black MJF with that scarf.
But his scarf is better because he was black. I said it.
We're going to have a battle of a scarf match. The Texas Death Rope scarf match. Or
And
whatever.
then,
They just wrap each other's scarves.
I
have a question, though, Eric.
Go ahead.
Apollo had an opportunity to turn heel earlier last year in, Pandemic Raw with MVP enjoying the Hurt Business before Cedric, or in the middle of that. Do you think they should have had him just join the Hurt Business back then and be evil if they were going to go this route?
No, because I think that his evil turn as this prince of royalty is more long-lasting. Because I think that if you look at the Hurt Business, truly the only person who's really benefited from the Hurt Business is Bobby Lashley and Cedric, who was... Cedric, it's okay.
I think they all benefit. None of those fools would be on TV if it wasn't for the Hurt Business.
Yeah, but then the thing is, though, then Apollo would have been a slave to what MVP could do for him.
Slave.
Now Apollo is being his own character. He's having his own microphone, and coming from fucking around with the Hurt Business and Retribution to the point that he's at right now, where it may lead into a match between him and Big E at WrestleMania, a man who was in catering, who was in all the battle royals for the past couple of years, to actually have a match on WrestleMania. I applaud this man for his accomplishments.
You think he's getting a match at WrestleMania?
I think he's getting a match at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be him against Big E.
I think it's going Fastlane.
The careful thing they need to do though with especially this type of character is write it properly, because it could very quickly go down the realms of King Booker.
It could,
like the opposite way. Like King Booker portrayed an English king. And then suddenly became Hood.
Yeah, so like for me, I think when me and Marcus was talking about all the royalty that is in the SmackDown realm, is that this is where we need to have the round table. This is where the head of the table meets with his knights of other lines of royalty. And I understand.
Knights are kings.
Huh? What? But I mean, like the point that
the seven kingdoms.
As Marcus said that, he was kind of sad that Apollo did not mention that. Roman told him to get in touch with his roots, but you can always do that next week where Roman is talking to him. I saw what you did out there. Give the head of the table, like, the approval. And then, King Corbin, he's a king. He's been a king for 2 years. They've tried to give him wolves, but the wolves disappeared because they wanted to bring COVID to the environment. But, I mean, like, we just have to... we have to really let this marinate. But I like it. I thought Nakamura looked good in this match. I like Nakamura being the person.
Nakamura was buried.
That's one man's opinion. Someone
That's
who
not
wasn't.
One man. It's the whole wrestling community. It's the whole wrestling community that doesn't understand what the word buried means.
Marcus,
I'm paraphrasing. I don't believe he was buried.
Let me tell you something, Marcus. One thing I've learned about from watching wrestling, as long as I have watched wrestling, every week someone is buried. And just this week it had to be Nakamura for somebody. I don't know why.
Somebody has to take a pin.
Yeah.
No. Liv Morgan didn't have to take that pin in Tamina. No.
Marcus, I know you're the only one that wants to talk. He's the only one that wants to talk about this Tamina versus Liv Morgan match, Marcus. I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
I thought Tamina was the most impressive wrestler on SmackDown this week. She's 2 weeks in a row. She got the momentum behind her. She's letting the guns out. She's about to get gold, guys. And when Tamina gets gold, I can become the champion. I get the money in the big briefcase, even though I'm already champion.
No, you don't.
I do.
I feel like our title's died because we stopped making it a defense.
Hey, the NWA title is still out there, right? I keep my title like the NWA title.
Manny, but that was Marcus' plan from the beginning. Let me win this title, and then we're just not going to bring it up ever again.
I bring it up every show. Every show.
So the worst kept secret in the game was finally announced when Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville was in the ring, and they called out Bianca Belair, who announced after Reginald interfered that she will be facing Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. And as Marcus pointed out, you don't say that I'm going to face you at WrestleMania. It becomes official when you point to the sign. She pointed to the sign, and basically, for me, for this being the conclusion of Black History, but there was not 3 other black people in the ring that I needed that just bring joy to my face between Bianca, Reginald, and Sasha. And I just know Carmella is someplace in the back plotting some way to screw them all over.
Carmella has nothing, Eric. Carmella needs to sit back in the back and realize that Sasha done stole her man and Gimmick. And that she's going to start drinking her wine and champagne, and Reginald's going to work for her. I'm just waiting for Reginald to attack Bianca, or the other way around. That's all that's going to happen here.
Well, Marcus, the sad part about things is that what happened was that literally Carmella tried to steal Sasha's gimmick, and then Sasha just stole the gimmick right back from her. Was fair for the goose, was good for the goose, was good for the gander. Manny, are you happy that we finally know that it's official, Sasha versus Bianca in this match?
No, because you booked the match. What if one of them gets injured now?
They just don't fight, man.
It'd be Sasha versus Reginald for the title.
I'm just tired. I'm just tired of Sasha. The new accent she's applied recently, fed up of it. Can't stand it. I don't condone hitting women, but I would do it.
Oh, wow. But Manny, I believe Bianca is going to put all the things aside and she's going to defeat Sasha at WrestleMania, and you don't have to deal with Sasha.
I hope so.
I think right now, and I'm willing, Bianca might be the most successful NXT call-up in a long time. She has that traction.
Drew McIntyre.
He don't count, man. He don't count.
Charlotte Flair.
Matt Riddle.
Charlotte.
Matt Riddle.
I said, no one cares about the U.S. title.
Matt Riddle was like last week.
So
Bayley is really successful.
So Street Profits face Sami Zayn and King Corbin. I like this for the simple reason is that Sami's camera crew got in the way of King Corbin from him performing his one favorite move that he likes to do in the match.
The most athletic move.
Yes. When he gets out the ring and gets back in, and I'm here for it every time. And I felt frustrated like Baron did when that damn camera crew was right there and there. I would have whooped their ass too. Marcus, this match was fine. I thought it showed the Street Profits and why they are one of the few dominant tag teams that exist in WWE. And I liked it. What about you?
Well, Dawkins' new move of the, Tiger Driver to neckbreaker. I was like, where the hell did he get that? And I was like, Dawkins has that move? It's a good move. And it seemed like it was enough. And I did not need Montez doing springboard frog splash to just show off his athleticism for no reason and land on somebody. But I have to ask the question, Manny, how about that dive?
You can't ask that in this segment. That is a specific Ray Phoenix move.
I think that this dive was better than Ray Phoenix's dive. That he jumped over Sami Zayn into Baron Corbin.
That's not fair. That's not fair. You know how athletic that man is. That's not fair.
And it's not fair because if you don't hit a barricade when you do the dive, it ain't really a dive.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, Marcus, you know the rules. Like, WWE cannot be in the dive conversation because they always do their dives usually in the ramp area. AEW, you do the dive because half of your ass got to fall into the crowd and hit the barricade because it ain't real fans, so those people can't sue you.
I think Ray Phoenix would do it even if there were real people there. I don't think he'd give a damn, Eric. He strikes me as a man who don't give a damn what he does in his dive.
He may not give a damn, but AEW gives a damn because they don't have the finances to pay all the lawsuits for people who get hurt by a dive.
Yes, they do.
AEW fans don't sue AEW.
If you want to talk about negotiations that went really bad and someone who felt really disrespected, that had to be the Big Show, who was talking to WWE about re-signing, but whatever reason the money didn't match, and the next thing you know, fuck you guys, I'm going to AEW to be a commentator on their YouTube show and possibly face Shaq. I think that's what we're going to get, unfortunately. Something that we're going to get that I think we all can agree that we look forward to at WrestleMania because we're on the road to WrestleMania, that will be Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Not really sure what they're fighting about, but I don't really care because this is where I want to be. Right, Manny? Cesaro versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth wanted Cesaro to follow him, be the next disciple. But no, Cesaro's having none of it, and we dabbled in the conversation on Tuesday about was Cesaro buried at the Elimination Chamber because we saw that in a fucking chat, and I thought that was ridiculous. This is probably going to steal the show at WrestleMania.
Do you think we're going to get this at WrestleMania, though? Because Fastlane's right here. Fastlane is just this monkey rich of a show that's in the middle of everything that can spoil the WrestleMania matches we could get. Like, if they give us Cesaro and Rollins at Fastlane, then they try to go back to it at Mania. It's not going to feel the same, right? Fastlane is in the way.
I personally feel, yes, I agree with Marcus. Fastlane is in the way because I want Big E and Apollo at WrestleMania, and I want Cesaro versus Seth at WrestleMania.
You don't even know who's in the match.
And, it's something I will talk about on Raw that I don't want, and that was in the tag match between Nia Jax, Shayna against Asuka and Charlotte, and the impromptu mishap that might lead to Asuka versus Charlotte again at WrestleMania that I don't need. I don't need that. And that's all I'm going to leave with that.
I don't think you're getting that at WrestleMania, Jack.
I hope I don't get it at Fastlane.
Asuka's dropping that belt at Fastlane. There's no reason to keep that belt on Asuka right now. They have not featured Asuka at all in this show, other than getting kicked in the face by Charlotte. Unless they're bringing Becky back, that's the only way Asuka's keeping that belt so she can fight Becky at WrestleMania. But Charlotte needs an opponent as well. So, we're going to do a Charlotte at WrestleMania.
So, my brothers, let me ask you this question. We have to talk about Wednesday night. Which show would you guys like to start off with? Which show would you like to end with?
I'm surprised you're not just doing them together like you did for Smackdown.
Would you guys like me to do them together? Because I can do that too, because I'm that talented. No?
Prove it.
Okay.
Prove it.
So, AEW Dynamite, it started off, and it went head-to-head against Dexter Loomis against Johnny Gargano. So, the match that they had to put against that is Jon Moxley versus Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Nemeth. On paper, what match did you guys want to see first?
Gargano.
Loomis and Gargano. That's not a fair trade. Moxley wasn't a match as more of a setup for a promo.
And that is correct. But I think that
Moxley's real match was with that chair and a microphone.
But if you argue the fact that Jon Moxley was the 2020 Wrestler of the Year, then I think this is the right way to start the show off. And I thought it was a great way to start the show off. And my one compliment that I will give to AEW, if I do get negative later on this show, I would like to give them one compliment, is that I appreciate them being focused on this episode of Dynamite and promoting the hell out of their pay-per-view on March 7th, which is taking place on a Sunday, which is something rare for them because they normally do Saturday pay-per-view. So they decided to jump into the Sunday night. I don't know what that's about. John versus Ryan.
You don't know what it's about? You don't know why?
No.
There's a big fight on March 6th. There was a boxing fight. They had to move.
Oh. But I thought it was a good opener. I thought John cutting his promo. He cut a Moxley promo. Am I right, Manny? Was nothing from there that you could say that
it was a Moxley promo, but I feel like he sold the hell out of his match. What he didn't do was sell the hell out of his match with Kenta. Which I didn't think he was going to win.
No, I was shocked. As someone posted, Kenta has defended that briefcase at least 20 times this year, only to finally get this cashing in and lose. And I was like, oh, and the match was just like whatever.
And that's why I stand by my statement that Kenta ain't shit. And that's just me.
I don't know why you're attacking Kenta. But I thought Moxley promo was amazing. I thought it was really good. I don't know about amazing. It was really good. And it told the story of like what the match was going to be. And he's just screaming and yelling, talking about how he's addicted to this shit. He gonna die for this shit. And, I was like, yeah.
No, for me, Marcus, I thought it was a great way to start off Dynamite. I was like, wow, this might be a good show. But going back to NXT, you had Loomis versus Gargano, which I was entertained by all the antics that was going on. When you find out that, yes, Indy Hartwell is enamored by Dexter Lewis, because I remember when the crowd was like, why is she smiling? And I'm like, oh, they're planting seeds. And then, Austin Theory ain't being right in the head. Ain't being right. The boy had a chair to cheat, but he couldn't do the cheating, which led to Dexter Loomis choking out Johnny Gargano and Dexter Loomis getting a win. I like the story that they were telling with this match. Manny, what about you?
I just like when Theory went, he ain't a bad guy. and then Gargano and LeRae just acting like what would you say, overprotective parents is the way they were reacting. It was so funny in their interview.
Yeah, as entertaining as this match was, it should have been over in the first 5 minutes. Candice LeRae jumped on Loomis, and that should have been DQ. Round the bat in front of the referee. And then Loomis was outside the ring for the entire 10 count, and for no reason, Gargano broke the count.
Yeah, I mean, like you need to be...
the logic in this was out of proportion.
We try to hold AEW accountable for when referees do stupid shit. And yes, they were doing extremely stupid shit in this match. Moving on.
Referees and wrestlers.
We got a hype session for MSK where they got to tell their story. And then shortly thereafter, they were going to be interviewed backstage where, young veterans attacked them. Manny, GYV getting their comeuppance for losing once again in the Dusty Classic. Do you think they have a gripe to grind with MSK?
Yes. Because the best team lost. The best team lost. I don't care that they just recently signed MSK. The best team lost. They lost last year.
Yeah, Manny's camera is shaking. He's so upset.
Manny's camera can't even stay focused on that one. It was just like, he's fuming. Manny, GYB is the Buffalo Bills of the Dusty Cup. I expect him to enter it again next year, and I expect him to lose again for a 3rd straight year. Yes.
So, battle of backstage packages. We go backstage in AEW where we have a video being played about Lance Archer and Rey Fenix, who are trying to fight each other for this qualifying match at Revolution. And then we have this backstage interview where both men are extremely cordial with each other. And then next thing you know, all hell breaks loose when Rey Fenix says something in Spanish that annoys the hell out of Lance Archer. And the next
he says he's the worst tag partner he's ever had.
Yes, which he doesn't want to be
Spanish. It was in
He
English.
said it to the guy, and the guy called him.
Yeah,
said it to him.
He translated for him, Marcus. At this point, they don't want to be a tag team to begin with. And I was like, well, I guess you're trying to give me some justification for this main event. I guess you're telling some type of story, so I have to be okay with it. Did you like the interaction between Phoenix and Archer in the back, Marcus?
My problem was it felt very TNA-ish, old TNA, with that the brawl happens in the back, and then they cut away and they'll show you the actual brawl. You gotta show me the finish of the brawl, or someone breaking them up before it ends, because no one ever shows part of footage of a fight starting and then cut away from it when it's a tape. So you're not gonna show me the good stuff. Just show me the fighting and break up. But yeah, it was fine. It was okay. It was whatever.
Manny, what about yourself?
I didn't feel like it was enough, and the more gripe I have with it was actually that this is a qualifying match to get into the ladder match. Yet we don't understand how the other 3 go into this ladder match. How Scorpio Sky, Penta, and Cody have been just granted free will to get into this match.
Manny, over time, I found a pattern. Since I found out Scorpio Sky's been injured for the past 3 weeks, coming back from an injury gets you into the match. He's coming back from an injury. Penta's having visa injury issues, but they wrote it off as that he had a visa injury, and he had a boot grained into his eye, in which he apparently doesn't want any revenge for that, apparently. And then Cody is injured as well. So if you come back from injury, you're in this ladder match, a more dangerous match. These two, Archer and Phoenix, were not injured, so therefore they have to qualify in this match to try to get injured.
But to the credit of AEW, they are trying to do storytelling details. Like, they did a little bit of foreshadowing when we saw the Bucks and their parents walking around backstage.
I hated that.
And then, for some reason, that the dad and the Young Bucks needed to take a picture by the production truck. Marcus, why did you hate that? Marcus, explain to me why you don't want the Bucks to take a picture with their father.
It was the most self-indulgent moment in the history of wrestling, I felt like. And that might be dramatic. One, his dad was there last week on the show.
They didn't see the truck, Marcus.
Why didn't they see the truck last week? Anyway, so it's the Young Bucks on a segment that they're the EVPs on, filming themselves walking to arena to look at their faces on a truck with their parents to take a picture for their own personal collection. I could give two shits about this. They could have set this up better. I just felt like it was just self-indulgent. And I hate their dad. He looks stupid. And the ketchup and mustard they use later in the segment.
I feel like Marcus just don't like parents. Manny, I thought the segment was okay. Are you in the same boat as I, or do you agree with your co-host Marcus?
So I would be a hippo in a crate if I didn't agree with Marcus, because I've been on record to say I did not care about Edge when he was talking about his mother, and I didn't care about MSK's video package when they were talking about his father.
That makes you a bad person. That's
I never said I was, Marcus. I never said I was a saint.
He said the Lord, not a saint. Oh, but I'm just saying, like, those stories are some good stories. It had nothing to do with the butt.
I don't even feel good.
Manny doesn't watch wrestling to feel good, goddammit. He wants violence. So, speaking of violence, the next match that happened on AEW was Brian Cage, Ricky Starks against the Varsity Blondes. And then afterwards, Sting came out with Hook in a body bag, and then they point to Darby Allin in the thing.
Can you pause for a minute?
What?
He totally forgot about that. He was doing an NXT report on the side of each one of these. It's just been AEW for like the past.
No, it hasn't, Marcus, because I just got finished talking about MSK. So I'm going to talk about this match between them.
No, that was a long time ago. You talked about three different.
Hold on.
You talked about.
Hold on. Has anyone seen Escobar? Marcus, I stole your joke. I
totally forgot.
Don't worry, Marcus. I hadn't forgotten. I was jumping back to NXT, but I figured that I can get this out first. Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Varsity Blondes. For me personally, AEW needed to do a squash match in this match. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks are supposed to be the stars in this feud between Sting and Darby Allin. If these guys can't handle the Varsity Blondes, what makes me think that they can handle Sting and Darby Allin? And that's what I'll lead off with that. Marcus, did you like the whole thing that they did with the smoke and mirrors, Hook being brought out in the body bag as Sting beats up Brian Cage and them Taz is up? Like, it seemed convoluted.
Before you go further, my friend, let me implore you, excuse me. Furby. Anyway, let me tell you, I enjoyed this match. Even though I agree with you, it should have been a squash match. I thought the Varsity Blondes looked good in this match with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. With that being said, very theatrical ending to a segment. Darby Allin filmed the whole thing by himself. I know that was just Steve's glove. Steve ain't got no time to hang out in the desert with Darby Allin and driving him to the street. Darby Allin did that all by himself. Hook being in the body bag and Taz being on commentary like, what the hell is this? Apparently, he never knew where his son was at.
No, Marcus. In commentary, he said that his son was in the car, so they can, after this shit is over, they can go to the party. So he knew his son was in the car, and I'm not sure if Sting knew that or Sting found out. But technically, Sting committed kidnapping. He should have felonies in the state of Florida.
It's okay. It's in the world of professional wrestling. You can do whatever crime you want, as long as it's not murder, and even that sometimes might be okay.
Man, what about you? Oh, wait, Mark is still going. Sorry.
So, my whole thing was, I think they could have got Sting and Darby Allin at the same time. Sting, who was unraveling the body bag, and as soon as you see Hook, they should have all ran over there. I don't know what they were doing, just waiting there. Should have ran over there and beat the crap out of that 60-year-old man, just jumbo. And then Darby, while he's taking an hour to swing down, I think you could have beat him like a piano with Sting's back in that time. I feel like you had enough time.
And I think for me, the thing that I had more trouble with is I never got any answers to where the Taz Coalition took Darby Allin. Like, did they just drive him around the block and let him go? I don't know exactly what happened.
He was parking lot trouble.
Because Sting was in hot pursuit, but we never really figured out where he went after that. Manny, this whole segment between them, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed the match, and then as soon as Marcus told me on Thursday that Sting was wearing padding, I immediately just didn't care about it anymore.
Wow. Wow. So, my favorite...
He looks like a linebacker out there, shoulder pads. I don't even see this anymore.
My favorite moment on NXT has always been week in and week out is my boy Malcolm Bivens kicking it in the training room, finding the next victim for Tyler Russ to fight. And at this point... I don't know what Leon Ruff was getting done to his neck, but clearly, whatever had happened last week in his match, he still needed treatment. And when he found out that he was medically cleared, he wanted a match against Tyler Russ. At this point, though, I said to myself, I don't know if this is a good matchup for either man because I think both men are trying to get some type of traction in NXT. Because they're trying to sell me Tyler Russ with Malcolm Bivens, and then Leon Ruff is who Leon Ruff is. Manny, going into this match, are you happy that this match actually didn't happen? Because I don't think you're a fan of Tyler Russ. I think I'm alone in this situation, correct?
No, see, the only person I'm a fan of in that situation is Malcolm Bivens. I do not care about this Tyler Russ, but as we alluded to on Thursday, this was Marcus's Black History Month moment of the day.
No, this is your Black History Month moment of the week.
Yeah, no, I said of the day. I said of the day.
Where, you gave it the day. Then you're right. You're 100% accurate. Then.
Where Tatanka kicked the hell out of Leon Ruff, who finally got his entrance after about 6 weeks of not seeing it.
After he won the championship, he just lost his entrance.
But never seen him so excited to be up there.
Mark, your boy Swerve
was fantastic.
Your boy Swerve didn't want this match to happen.
No, this was the most fantastic moment of wrestling this week. I did Regal running out looking for Escobar. This is the most fantastic. Bivens coming behind that trainer's bed, looking at saying, how you doing, buddy? You think you can go? You cleared the wrestler, right? I just felt like that you really have a tomato can if you need to beat up Leon Ruff to try to get you make a name for your guy. And then Swerve Scott surprising the hell out of everybody not letting this match happen. Didn't see that coming. Came over with that boot, kicked him in the air, and, it was done for Leon after that.
My favorite spot of the whole match, though, is after Swerve Scott defeated him, the cameraman did not show us the beatdown of Leon Ruff, but they cut to the ring where Malcolm Bivens is holding up Tyler Russ's hand like, hey, yeah, my man just won this match. And I think it's like the greatest story going on in NXT outside of Manny reenacting William Regal looking for Santos Escobar, who decided he was going to come to work when he wanted to come to work, to the point where Regal was so stressed out about Santos not showing up because he needed to make a match that he went and talked to the debuting Zoe Stark and booked her in a match with Io Shirai, which I thought was a very good match for both women involved. Marcus, you have a disgusted look on your face. Why?
What? No, I know.
It looked like you were disgusted. I'm sorry.
No, you can't read faces.
Oh, well, you had your lips all perched and stuff. I was like, you was about to talk about that. Maybe Zoe Stark didn't need to be put into this position to face Io Shirai.
No, I have nothing bad to say about it. This was great. This is good. Zoe Stark looks like she's gonna be something. Io still can't land her moonsault. Tony Storm came out and said Io's ducking her. I enjoyed all of this. This was great.
Yo, girl Tony Storm, Manny, she making moves. She's trying to get that title shot, saying that Io has been ducking her. Io gave her the match. Is the era of Shirai about to end with Tony Storm becoming the new champion?
I think so. It needs to happen. I think Shirai needs to move on. I think she needs to move up because there is a big gap in the Raw women's division. I know we didn't mention it. Rhea Ripley is joining Raw, but there's still, even with Rhea joining it feels like a massive gap on that Raw roster.
It still feels like a nightmare. And maybe that's Charlotte's opponent for Raw. It's Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. Rematch it up. This time in front of people. No title on the line. Unless they just take it from Asuka. Like, give me that, Asuka. What are you doing?
I will not take the time to talk about Jake Hager and Brandon Cutler. We've already pointed out that Brandon Cutler did not deserve that he did not deserve that intro.
We didn't talk about that, I don't think, on this show.
No, I know you guys didn't talk about it on this show.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He had an intro like that with Pyro. Who does he think he is? Karrion Kross? like, what the fuck? You Brandon Cutler. I ain't never seen Mikey Ripwreck, Iron Mike Shark, what's the child that pat himself on the back? Barry Horowitz ain't never had no interest like that. And yet, here we are, 80 years later, watch Brandon Cutler think he the Ultimo Dragon. The damn him and his entire company for allowing that to happen. Damn, they spent more time in Brandon Cutler's intro than they did with anything they've ever done with Miro. anything.
And the sad part about it, this was following the Miro segment where he was complaining about Orange Cassidy and Chuck about them being to the wedding. I'm like, you brought Charles to the wedding. Like, just shut up. But the whole purpose of Brandon Cutler showing that he is a friend of the Young Buck was to have this match so we can have the Young Bucks make the save and we can see where technically Papa Buck got fucked up. He got fucked up in the back. And when he got banged into the back of the truck and he did the slow motion slide down and then they picked him up and they banged him again and he slid down slowly again, it made me sick. Manny.
Eric. So can you explain to me, when they loaded up Papa Buck into the
Here we
ambulance,
go. Marcus
why
the
the fuck the Good Brothers went in there and not the wife and Matt Jackson? Because Nick Jackson went in there. Can someone explain to me why Matt Jackson and the mum didn't go into the ambulance, but the Good Brothers did?
Hey, maybe you know what? Maybe that's who Machine Gun Anderson was cheating on his wife with. Maybe that's why he hopped up into the ambulance. I don't know. I don't know why they care so much about Papa Buck. It didn't make any sense to me. I felt like
so funny. They hopped in there. Like, why?
I felt like Papa Buck had no business being there. Just no business. No business.
I feel like Jericho beat him up for his shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
they both dress ridiculous.
Let me just tell you this, right?
I think their dad might be younger than Jericho, to be honest.
I think Papa Buck looked like one of those guys that you see inside the casino in Las Vegas that ain't got nothing going for him. Probably working at the Orleans because his shirt was so shoddy, trying to tell you, man, you shouldn't do that bet. You shouldn't do that bet. Like, I don't like this guy. He's the reason why I did not like the Young Bucks, because he looked too much like both of the Young Bucks and all the qualities that I dislike about them. Fuck Papa Buck.
You know what really hurt this segment for me? One, okay, I hate the segment. I do enjoy the theatrics of them wiping the blood on top of the Buck's face and stuff like that. I enjoyed that. But I think the wrong people can do this. Like, if Pride and Powerful did this, I would believe it a lot more than Jericho and MJF, who, over recent time, come off as soft. Like, they have not done anything to be, like, violent or anything. So I'm like, this seems out of character for them.
Ross, who's one half of the Run-In review show, says that Jericho has blocked him on Twitter.
It's a third. Where'd you learn your mathematics?
I went to Curtis, man. Then I went to Banning.
That's too.
Exactly, and that's why we suck at math, man.
I don't suck that bad.
All I can do is count my money, baby. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
It's easy to count when you ain't done that.
Sticking in the realm of AEW, we had Adam Page and Isaiah Cassidy.
I called him Jericho and he blocked me.
which is just leading to next week where we have Matt's Money Team going against the Dark Order and Adam Page. I want nothing to do with this.
I have a question.
This is where AEW lost me, man.
You didn't care about the Adam Page Isaiah Cassidy match. You don't have any thoughts on that?
No, I don't.
They had a solid match. It was a solid match. I can shit on Isaiah Cassidy a bunch, but I thought he delivered in his singles match better than Mark Quinn delivered in his singles matches. And it was a solid match.
There may be an upside to Isaiah Cassidy if he manages to get some size onto him. Not too much, but he is a bit soft.
I just want to point out, like, for me personally, it's not against Isaiah Cassidy. It's not against Adam Page. What I have issues with is I have issues with Matt Hardy, and I have issues with the Dark Order. I don't need them on my television at all. I just don't. And this is coming from a Matt Hardy former fan. Like, I don't need this. And I had
a problem with the referee more than anything in the segment. Matt Hardy got ejected, but the Hybrid 2, who are hired guns, got to hang out and stay there. Who, honestly, they didn't get involved at all in this match. They were out there.
Yeah, but, I think this is a prime example of people not minding their own goddamn business. And we're going to get to that when we get to NXT, because everybody's getting what they deserve in that situation where people ain't minding their own damn business. But
I had no problem with this segment, by the way, though. I was like, it made sense. It was better than the previous segment that made no sense with Isaiah Cassidy and the mascot thing. And They're offering each other's quarterly checks and, him trying to rip Hangman Page up, but still Matt Hardy got what he wanted. It doesn't make sense.
It was a load of swerves that no one understood.
What I enjoyed about NXT, going back there, I enjoyed the time that Cameron Grimes is spending to figure out what to do with his money. So he decided he was going to take a spot from the $1 Million Man to have someone bounce a basketball 10 times for $1,000.
Right. You're leaving out the fact that he reviewed the tape and didn't watch the end of it.
No, he reviewed I was going to get there. He reviewed the footage, but he didn't finish it because he figured he knew what the gist was. So the first guy got $1,000 for it because he bounced the basketball. However, he went back after he lost that G and decided he was going to watch it in full and figured out exactly how to go about having this challenge be made. And then he goes to the back where there's 3 NXT signees sitting on the curb. The first one is a black guy. The first one is a black guy. He says, "I'm not going to ask you," which made me laugh so much because I know why he wasn't picking him, because he was a black guy. Then he goes to the black woman, not knowing that she might could ball because she was a former WNBA player, and he picks her. He picks her. She stands up, and he's like, "Oh, you tall," and all that. And then he tries to finish what $1 Million Man did, and he lost $2,000. But he got plenty of money, so he's all right. But I enjoyed Cameron Grimes. He's going to the moon with his money.
Man, you're not gonna talk about the best part?
What's the best part?
The last one where he didn't even let the man get one dribble and just dropped him in the parking lot. Eric, we
punched him in the face.
Oh shit! I didn't see that.
What?
So
that is the funniest thing ever. So he was so frustrated. He went to the first guy he saw, and this canceled our NXT non-parking lot incident because this happened in the parking lot. In which he was there. He tells the guy to dribble. The guy bounced the ball once, and he just punches the dude in the face and says, "Yeah." And he's like, "I ain't got time for you, $1 Million Man," and all that.
No, I did not see that.
He called out the $1 Million Man, Eric, and then he just threw the money at the guy. Like,
you can kiss my grits.
Let me tell you something, though. People who deserve exactly what they got on this night, that is Casey Catanzaro. What Xia Li and Boa did to them is all because they need to mind their own goddamn business. Xia Li wasn't winning when she was your friend. Now she's winning matches. Let her live her life.
Eric, I asked this question to Marcus. How about that defense? I heard that
it's impenetrable, man.
I heard the Brooklyn Nets are calling Bo up to see when did he learn to do defense like that. Because he was on point. He was not getting choked again. Not 2 weeks in a row.
Not 2 weeks,
not 2 weeks in a row. He was like, slide, oh. Dang.
This might be the most ridiculous story in wrestling, but I'm all there for it. What can I say?
We were all there when it started. When it started, we were all sold.
Yeah, I'm for Xia Li and Boa and T.S. Shaw, attorney at law. I'm just worried what happened to Sifu. Sifu has disappeared. I'm assuming he was stealing money or something. He is out the bed.
No. He's teaching firebending or something.
So, in the match that surprised the hell out of me, Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose. I thought this was a really, really good match for AEW and for women's wrestling. I was shocked that Nyla Rose got the win because I thought they were going to be all there with Britt Baker. I was disappointed that Nyla Rose, I don't know if she was dazed or something because she had a little bit of trouble with that first powerbomb where she looked kind of like she fell backwards and almost dropped Britt Baker, making her get injured again. But somehow they finished the match. Nyla Rose is moving on in the tournament, and I believe she's probably going to go on to face Rio again to get back where we started in the AEW women's division, Rio versus Nyla Rose.
Is this just to take a knock on the fuck the NWA by taking out the champion and then obviously the former champion of Thunder Rosa now to put Rio over? Because I still am not sold on Rio and her offense at all.
I really hope this tournament. I'm hoping this tournament isn't a Riho just win for no reason. I would give it to Thunder Rosa. I thought Britt should have advanced over Nyla Rose. They need to do something with Britt Baker instead of just having her lose. I feel like she has a good okay. She should be carrying that division. She's the only one in that division that can really talk and carry herself well like a champion, and they should just give everything to Britt Baker. But I don't understand where they're going. Like, I just rehash of Riho and Nyla Rose. We've been there, done that. Like, if Thunder Rosa don't win this whole damn thing, it's a waste of time.
So, Manny.
And where the hell is Sheeta?
And Manny, I'm going to come to you. Oh, she's fighting a tag match on Bleacher Report and something. I'm going to turn to you because we had a match on NXT where Drake Maverick, Killian Dane went against GYV. GYV got the win, but what was more important afterwards is Wolf from Imperial approached Killian Dane.
You used to be a monster.
and questioned what Killian Dane used to be. Manny, are they trying to recruit the monster or are they trying to unlock the monster? What is Imperium go right here?
I have no idea. I wouldn't add Killian Dane to that mess.
He doesn't fit.
Nah, the only person you add is Thatcher. Thatcher's the one you add. You don't add the Beast of Belfast.
Yes.
Marcus, what about you? Do you think they're going anywhere with Imperium trying to unlock the Beast of Belfast?
I think, and hopefully, I pray that this is what's going to happen. And, I'm going to pray and take my vitamins and do all that to get this. It's that they recruit him, but they don't want him. He doesn't want to join. He fights the Imperium guys, and only for Walter to show up and beat the brace off, slap the shit out of Killian Dane and end it. That ring is sacred, damn it. And Walter takes out Killian Dane, and we begin the Walter run in NXT. Because that dude doesn't even show up on NXT UK and stuff for like once every 2 months now. He's not even working there.
Because he's the champion. He don't get paid by the hour.
So
he has nobody to fight on that show anymore, really.
Ross says, remember when Dane was going to be something big? Not me either. So let's talk about
Sanity?
Let's talk about the main
event.
This
goes to Sanity reuniting. They just need to put Nikki Cross with them, and then they got Sanity back.
So
Sanity was I can't even remember his name.
Eric Young.
It was all Eric Young.
So let's talk about the battle of the main events. I will start off with the lesser main event first. That was Karrion Kross against Santos Escobar, who somehow made it to work right before it was time for the match to start. Don't know how he got there, but William Regal
clearly was driven, Eric.
Marcus, but William Regal wasn't the only one in the parking lot waiting for Santos Escobar to arrive. So was Karrion Kross, and he just sent Scarlett out there as a decoy to the ring. My biggest gripe about this entire match is only a one scene. Is when Escobar locks himself into the big rig truck, and the windows is up, and somehow Karrion Kross gets a pickaxe. And at that point, the way that he decided to use that pickaxe, I determined that Karrion Kross could never be a star in my eyes. Anybody who has a pickaxe and decides that you're trying to get to somebody and you have a pickaxe and you have a choice of going through a metal door or a glass window and you choose to put the pickaxe in the metal door, it tells me you don't make great decisions. I was annoyed by this moment, as you guys can tell. The glass,
I'm going to tell you.
Even Escobar was shocked that he didn't break the glass. Because when he saw the pickaxe, he started scooting over to the driver's side. And then he realized, this fool put the pickaxe into the door. What the hell was he thinking? Marcus, you was going to explain something.
I am going to defend Kross on this one.
How dare you?
How dare you?
He was going to go to the window, but didn't realize.
And to the wall?
Major,
to the sweat dripped down his balls?
You don't understand that
he's a physics.
Why are you saying it like that? It sounds way worse the way you're saying it that way.
Because the man put a pickaxe through the door and not the window, Manny.
He was going to do it, but physics came into play. When he took that swing, he was like, wait a minute, that glass could get into my eye and it could cost you the match. That's why.
So Eric, much like you, on Thursday, I normally have the dumbest thing of the week, which is normally something someone says.
Or something from AEW.
And then it was an action. I had to explain to Marcus it was going to be an action, and it was that. I found that the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
It's bad enough
justification. Even me trying to justify.
Eric, I put him on a scale of either Brock Lesnar or Ryback, and he's edging very closer to Ryback now.
I agree. Karrion Kross has lost a lot of momentum, and that didn't help. Overall, though, I was cheering Escobar in this match. We know I'm an Escobar fan, and I thought for the most part they had a very entertaining main event.
Wait, you make it sound like it was just Escobar out there. You gotta say it's Gargano del Fantasma. He fought them all.
Marcus, it's Escobar because those are the arms of the master, man. You got to understand, when you have goons, you don't count the goons that are doing the dirty work because at the end, only the person who leads the goons is the one on top. No one talks about the henchman that the Joker has. No one does. You talk about the Joker.
He kills him himself, probably.
Yeah, but we talk about main event Uso, so...
Yeah.
He got a shirt. They don't have a shirt yet.
You know, you're most improved.
Hey, I'm a hip on the crate. Go ahead, Marcus.
But I enjoyed this match. I thought, that it wasn't no DQ that they decided to start in the parking lot, which made 2 incidents happen in the parking lot. So they decided to fight all over the place. It was really good. And, it's a nice side story for Kross to go through as he waits for Balor to do whatever Balor's going to do next. He needs to stay away from the Undisputed Era because Balor has no business with them.
I don't think he deserves to be in the title picture.
Marcus, first of all, any man...
3 men.
No. Karrion Kross, you put a pickaxe through the door. No title for you. But going to the conclusion of this, Finn Balor got taken out by being thrown into the barricade, and Roderick Strong... Marcus, you've high-fived Roderick Strong. I think you really have to you have to feel really bad for Roderick Strong in this situation. Manny, do you know the story of the high-five of Roderick Strong?
Yes, it's been told on the podcast.
Okay, just want to make sure you know the story behind it. Where Marcus was forced to buy the Roderick Strong t-shirt because it was the only one that they had. And then later on the night, we saw him in the casino, and Roddy was like, great shirt. And Marcus was like, yeah, he high-fived him. But with that being said, Marcus, you have to feel bad for Roddy in this situation because his family, they all got a divorce, and no one told him that the divorce was happening.
This is the only time Roderick Strong has been relevant in his entire career in the Undisputed Era and being a member of the Undisputed Era. Roddy by himself has never worked. He's just Roderick Strong. You're a great wrestler, Roddy, but the Undisputed Era was a personality. They weren't you. You have nothing now. And then he came out, I don't know what's going on. And you're like, there he is.
He don't know what's going on.
By himself again. What's going on with you, Adam? I don't appreciate it, Adam. And then, he hits Adam Cole. Adam Cole's like, you stupid, Roddy. You always been stupid. And you wasn't even a real one of us anyway. You were extra. You like Winston and the Ghostbusters.
Dude, you was added to...
You bring up Winston like that.
You know who Winston is. He was the side piece.
No, Marcus.
It was
no.
the 3 Ghostbusters. You got Egon. You got I forgot their name. Bill Murray.
Ray, Marcus, Ray.
You got Ray and Peter.
Yes.
It was Peter Bateman, Ray, and Egon, and then they hired Winston. And that's who Roderick Strong was. He was the Winston of the Undisputed Era.
Because Bobby Fish was hurt. That's what happened. But at the end of the day, this is what we expect to happen. I don't understand why Roddy didn't understand that the Undisputed Era was over. True, I did laugh that Adam came out in Undisputed gear. Roddy came out in Undisputed gear. And now I'm like, what gear will they have? It's just...
But the question is, what does Finn Balor do?
Well, he can't survive being thrown into a barricade.
Does he keep going out there and getting his ass whooped? Well, because this is family fighting right here. That has nothing to do with him.
Well, Marcus, the thing about it, they have said that Kyle O'Reilly is going to be out for a time period for a couple of months because of his injury, whatever that was. So I'm assuming that's what Finn is going to try to get to avenge his death of his fallen friend. And this is where Adam Cole's get another enhancement win to make the match between him and Kyle O'Reilly even more. That's how I look at it. But the true main event, the true best match of the week, yes, it occurred on AEW. And yes, I said that with a straight face. It was a good old-fashioned storytelling of big man versus little man. Lance Archer going against Rey Fenix, Marcus' boy. Marcus, Rey Fenix did not get the win. Were you disappointed that Lance Archer was defeated him in this match?
I'm disappointed that neither one are in the ladder match. I mean, not neither one. That they both are in this match. They could have just put them both in and just said we're having a match, just to set it off. But it was very weird that AEW had a really good match and it didn't end with any type of kerfuffle or drama or nothing. This was just the end. They bumped fists and they were like, "This is the end of the thing." And the only thing I have to say about this match was it was terrific. But I have one question and one question for Manny, and it's only for Manny. Manny, how about that dive?
Again, he gets 6 for making contact, but he made more contact with that barricade afterwards.
Come on, this time he made more contact with Archer than he did with anybody else.
Yeah, but ask him how his arsehole's doing. Because it's not well.
I know he took a break after his hole got hit on that rail. And after he did it, he kind of fell down to the table like, ooh, I mean, you stop doing this.
I mean, I think the very interesting thing about this match, and it's something that might be a groundbreaking moment for AEW, this is one of the first times in a long time that the main event didn't involve somebody that's an executive vice president or somebody from the inner circle or somebody from the Dark Order. This was like two people who are entities that are fighting to be a part of something that I don't truly...
Wait a minute. The Dark Order has only main evented when Brody Lee was in there.
And Marcus, I still say
that was Brody Lee main eventing.
That's still one time too many for me, personally. But
yeah, it was really good.
It was a good match.
I thought it was a good episode of Dynamite.
It was.
You know? I had no problems with this episode of Dynamite. I mean, I had problems with it of any show, but it was a fun show. It was solid.
Surprisingly, they had some issues on AEW, but I thought it was one of the better shows that they put together because for the first time in a long time, they had a focus. They were focused on their show that takes place on March 7th. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff happening on that show that I don't personally care about, but I still can see where if you're an AEW fan, you can be excited for the show. Am I right, Manny?
Yeah, so we got in the comments on Thursday, it was Levi saying this is the first time he's not paying for WrestleMania. He's going to use that money towards what I believe is going to be Revolution, because I don't think there's going to be another pay-per-view for a while after that, because they don't do paid. They only have 4, don't they? They have 4 paid pay-per-views.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so they won't have one around April, so he's saying he's going to do that. Revolution was their best pay-per-view last year, so yeah, I'm hoping this is their version of their WrestleMania, and it's probably going to be good.
What about
I believe All Out is their WrestleMania, or All In, or whatever, or one of those shits.
They've got too many casino references on their shit.
So, they need to go all in with these casino references. Just go for it.
We technically don't have any emails this week, but we did have a request from the Dizman to call in with his email. So I'm going to get him on the phone to find out what he would like to discuss with us about.
Are you sure if he's ready?
Well, I'm about to find out. I'm going to send him messages as Manny eats his most disgusting pizza ever.
How many more slices of this do you have? I feel like it's an unlimited box of pizza.
I've got 3, including this one.
You didn't even share that with your family, man. You just decided to eat that all by yourself, man. It's just nasty, man.
Nobody, I wouldn't give that to nobody. I'm not giving nobody no KFC pizza filled with gravy.
It's delicious. I don't care what you think about it. Delicious. Fucking delicious.
Yeah. I mean, basically, though, it's just a biscuit with gravy on it, right? And they got some real chicken on it. I mean, it's kind of what it would be.
Mm-hmm. It's delicious.
It does make sense.
This man.
When we break stuff down like that.
Hey, Adrian, are you on the line?
I am, sir. How are you?
Can you hear us? Oh, wait. Adrian, are you on the line?
I am, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. I push the rogue button on my own slider. I do it all the time. You're on air with Marcus, the grand finale, and Manny, who's eating the most despisable piece of pizza I've ever heard.
Despisable is not a word, Eric.
It is a word to me.
I'm going to look that up.
How y'all doing today?
I'm doing good. I didn't hear what he said.
He said, "How are you guys doing today?"
He's a little low. I barely can hear him.
Let me see if I can turn up my Bluetooth. There you go. Go ahead now. Talk. There, right. There we go.
Is that better?
That's better. I can hear you now. How you doing?
How y'all making everything? Y'all doing all right?
We all right, getting by.
We're good, chilling.
We're at the end of the show.
AEW.
After 2 hours.
Life.
This is the end of my worst week of my life, but yeah.
Oh man. Well, I thank you for allowing me to call in first and foremost, as always. And I really only had one question, but it could lead to some good discussion. So, if you're ready, I'm ready to answer.
All right, go ahead.
It was all about how about that dive. I already asked that. So.
Oh boy. Well, my question is: do you think that the reason, like companies like AEW and others, have changed, the way wrestling used to be presented, is because wrestling fans themselves have changed? Like you hear Cornette and other older guys talking about, selling and things that they used to do back in the day, but do you think that things have changed because the fans have changed?
All right. Marcus, would you like to tackle that question first?
Yeah, the fans have changed, and I've said this on the show a lot of times. I think, as maybe this whole generation, and maybe I'm just an old guy now these days, and I'm not the young lad I used to be, and I feel like wrestling fans have just become dumber, and they just like using fancy words and thinking that they know everything. And I feel like they have changed, but they've changed for the worse. Like, I feel like, the way they throw around, wrestling fans throw around people being buried, or they don't even use the term, you're a mark. They don't even use that right. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of things that aren't working. And there's a way to, like, do wrestling in modern time when it's not just total nonsense, where you can just have a real show. Like, and just do stuff that logically makes sense. And over time, wrestling fans have somewhat complained that they're too into video games and they just want to see basically what they get off like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter in their street fights. And I don't want that. I want to fight with some story and stuff. So they have changed, but they've changed for the worse.
All right, Manny, as you finish your pizza, how do you feel about that?
It's hard to tell stories in this day and age because long-term storytelling is quite difficult in an age where pretty much everyone suffers from this almost ADD generation of you need it now. Like we're in this everyone's in this binge watching TV kind of way now. So I can't wait a week to get this thing. I need it all now. I need everything now. So this is where you get everyone looking for spoilers or this person saying this nonsense and this person saying that. So that's the fan intake now, is you're constantly striving for the answer before letting it happen in front of you.
And for me, when I think about
I don't know who that was.
It sounds like he's in a drive-thru. So for me, I think what it is that first thing that you have the WWE, and they have already been pegged as the enemy, where everyone is against WWE. So you already have so many people against them. And then you have the audience who doesn't understand that you have wrestling, you have entertainment, that you have it together. And some people don't understand that in order to make money in this business, you can't do all wrestling. You have to have some form of entertainment to allow the casual fan to enjoy it and to be a part of the situation. I think that AEW is given a lot more leeway than WWE is because they are the smaller company, so people let them get away with more. And WWE is the type of the company that will say, we don't listen to what you want. We're going to do what we want to do. If you don't like it, stop watching. And to me, you either have the company that tells you to stop watching, or you have the company that says, we're going to try to make you happy, although you really don't know what you want, because most people won't, as Manny says, that instant microwave type of wrestling fan, they will go and try to find out what happened instead of watching it for themselves. Like, it's so many times when you'll see people comment on stuff where someone says, oh my God, such and such just won a title. And their response is, what happened? Tell me what happened, instead of saying, hey, let me go watch and see what happened. They want someone to tell. More people read about what happens instead of watch what happens. And I think
it's all about
nothing. Hold on, no one reads nothing.
It's all about that instant gratification that people want these days, and no one's willing to wait.
No,
I'm guilty of that. Like I'll binge watch TV shows and stuff like that, which is why I told Marcus if we broadcasted wrestling much like how they do it in Young Rock, we might have a better wrestling project, and just told a story going into it. We might have a better television show.
Yep. And I told him that was Lucha Underground.
and for me, I think that of all the new wrestling companies that came out and were anything, I thought Lucha Underground was the best example of what wrestling done right with proper storytelling could actually be. However, it just wasn't financially sustainable to do it that way. And that's the downfall. Adrian, what is your opinion of what the issue with wrestling fans are?
See, me personally, I think it's because I agree with everything y'all said. I do. But I think the reason fans are the way they are is because they don't have hope that they're going to get what they want, or that they don't, that they don't have hope that their time will be valued. So, like, that's why a lot of times you hear them say, well, what happened? Is this worth me tuning in for? Have things changed, or am I just going to get, disrespected and not listened to again? Like I think that's why people don't like the WWE, because they feel WWE is like, yeah, we're going to listen to you. We're going to do exactly, we got you. And then they don't. And it's like, well, why am I watching if you're going to lie to me and not do what I want?
Okay.
And I think a lot of...
But my question for that, in that train of thought, which I don't understand, is because, like, we have TV shows and people have sitcoms, and, honestly, people write shows. And if people don't like what the people write, people give up. Why do wrestling fans feel that they're entitled to control what product is put out to watch when it's an entertainment show? You can't control what Christopher Nolan is going to do in a movie when he makes this movie. You can watch the movie.
You don't even know what he's going to do in a movie most of the time.
Yeah, but, like, at the end of the day, you watch the movie. If you don't like the movie, it's like, okay. Even with music, like, on paper, Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak having an album in a group called Silk together sounds amazing. But at the end of it, that product might not work. I just feel like wrestling fans in general want to control too much. And the problem is there's so many different opinions coming in. There's no way to make everybody happy. Manny, I think you were going to say something too.
Well, I just feel like when you run into doing a lot of fan service, you actually discredit a lot of stuff that, like, the integrity of your own product, because now you're just letting other people make your decisions for you, and that's not always going to work out well. Which is this dangerous model I thought AEW go down, of always trying to please their fans. Where if you go back a few years ago, like, let's just the Attitude Era, for example. You didn't know what you were going to get week to week, and it was great. It was honestly great. But now that people have gotten older and they start wanting things and everything, everyone's too spoiled. Everyone's too spoiled.
No, I want to say that's what AEW does have going for them, is that I never know what I'm going to get on a Dynamite week to week. Raw has a format in SmackDown that, someone's going to come out and talk. They're going to say, why don't you do something? Well, we find out later tonight. And they have a formula that they do. And what Dynamite doesn't have, there is no formula, and you have no idea what you're going to get. And I do like that about that show. But on the lines of wrestling fans controlling the show, but I think it's not just wrestling fans, it's every form of medium in which you can watch, for example, WandaVision. I'm not sure if anybody's here watching that but me, but I have Disney Plus, not because of that, because I forgot to cancel on time and after The Mandalorian. So a lot of times, and I'm not going to spoil the show, but it's so many, like, everybody has their own fan theories of what's going on the show, or they're impatient about, I want to know what's going on, instead of letting the show just play out as the show. And when something doesn't happen on the show, they go, oh man, they should have did this. Or if something exactly like that happens on the show, oh, that was too predictable. Like it's like they want some unsolvable. It's a situation in which no one's going to be happy, and I'm just like, just watch the show. The creators are here to create, and the viewers are here to watch. And when Chris Hero released that, what Vince McMahon's like, or the way he produced the show, is that he's not trying to be a part of the trend. He's just trying to do whatever he wants and just make himself or the show happy. And wrestling fans want this way. No, that man's going to pretty much do what he wants. And I appreciate someone with their creative control, I guess, of just showing their vision of what their show should be. And,
And Adrian.
Back to the Wrestling Observer thing, to bring things back. Promoter of the year. I don't know how WWE don't win Promoter of the Year. When they make the most money, that's what you're supposed to do as a promoter. And the worst promoter of the year or booking of the year should be a product I'm not talking about, which is Ring of Honor. It should be something like that.
I also want to ask this man. You also have a show which you could have asked this question on, and brought some views to this channel, but I don't know why you're calling in.
Because I forgot to write in.
Yeah, and the thing about it, let me say, this is where I side with Vince in this situation, is that I create this show. Saturday is my show. And we have said it numerous times. I have the lowest views, whatever. I don't have the same amount of energy that Manny and Marcus have on their shows. They are the AEW of the Sharpshooters YouTube channel. They have all the fan support. And I'm WWE. But at the end of the day, whether I get 1 view or 2 views, at the end of it, if I'm happy with the product that I put out, then I'm okay with what I produce. If no one watches
1 or 2 views, you're saying the Barlow.
I'm just saying that, like, at the end of the day, you have to do things that make yourself happy, and hopefully you can find people who also enjoy the product that you're making. And if people don't enjoy the product that you're making, yeah, maybe you have to sit back and do some analysis and say, wait, what am I doing wrong? But at the same time, yes, I could throw those dancers Marcus had on from when we had the Raw Underground and get my views up, but I'm not going to do that.
But what it is too, another thing, and I just thought of this, it's the perception of WWE. It's like using your example, nobody feels that you, Eric, are a bad person. It's like the perception of WWE is that they're evil. Whereas, AEW is a wholesome, loving company that just wants its fans to be happy. Whereas the perception of WWE is that we're going to do what like you said, we're going to do what we want. And if you don't like it, don't watch. And it's like,
Adrian, I would say that you have a very interesting perception of me, because honestly, there's a lot of people who think I'm evil and an asshole. That's just, I'm not the nicest person in the world.
No. What I'm saying, I'm saying, like, there's no perception where you're trying to hold Eric and Manny down, or you won't let nobody on the show talk except you, and it's your way or the highway. Like, you might be a butthole, as you said, but there's still a unity between you three, where it's like, if Marcus interrupts you, you ain't going to go off on him. You just going to let Marcus talk. You're going to give Manny equal time. Whereas, Manny's going to say what he wants to say. He's not going to shut it down. I've been on the show. So it's like, you're open to let people come in. So it's like, you're open to work with outside talent. You're open to be creative. And you're painting your own picture, but you're not opposed to, I guess, suggestions if they fit within your framework. But the problem with people see with WWE is that they feel WWE is evil and they're just selfish, and I guess they don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. And Meltzer and people like that really don't help it.
Well, but I'm okay with that perception of WWE being evil, because although they have that perception of being evil, you still have like the biggest class of new NXT talent of people who still are trying to sign with WWE and go there. I think the thing about it is that when it comes down to it, there's different places for different personalities. Some people will flourish more in AEW than they would in WWE. And just like it's some people who will flourish more in Ring of Honor. I just don't think that it's a perfect fit for everybody. Go ahead, cut me off, Marcus.
Cut you off. I want to talk about the evil aspect. Everybody on top is always evil. It's no matter what. Google's evil. Facebook's evil. Amazon's evil.
Bill Belichick was evil.
You can't play nice in business.
LeBron James is evil. All the top business people are all evil. And they may not be 100% evil. Maybe there's some goodness in them. But their main focus is their business. And they want to continue to make money. And then when people, I see that perspective aside of it. Like, WWE is basically evil. There's some stuff they did that are pretty effed up over the years that you go like, damn, they might be evil.
Do you know, Marcus?
They always do stuff that they're like, it's mess with their money.
Marcus, let me tell you, in the Wrestler Observer Awards, they had like some of the worst promotional move of the year, like douchebag move of the year, and they were like releasing people during the pandemic, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah, but think of how many other companies did that during the pandemic. Like, so many people have lost their job during the pandemic. Not just WWE that did it.
I always felt that wrestling fans have a hard time separating that. At the end of the day, WWE is a corporation. And it's like, you're not playing with toy money. And if you want your company to survive, if you're not using this talent, let this talent go. Like, and the sad part about it, you can't complain about them releasing FTR, Luke Gallows, and Machine Gun Anderson, and then be also happy that these people are in AEW. Because if WWE didn't let these people go, then you wouldn't have these people to cheer in the company that you're at. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword where you're arguing out of both sides of your mouth, which is a term that I learned at work. But we hope you were able to answer your question, Adrian, as we
Yeah, we were. And I enjoyed the discussion as always. Yeah. And I think
I'm gonna make this a regular gentleman's discussion since we don't have an episode this week. I'm just gonna put gentleman's discussions text, edit this right out, and have you be exposed in a pointing a finger or something, and the speaker.
That's cool. That's cool. We do need to have another gentleman's discussion, but we'll talk about that off air.
All right. Well, thank you for the call in, Adrian. Do you need to promote your book or your travel agency while we're here?
You know what? I wasn't, but since you offered, I might as well take the time to talk about AWO Big Time Players Episode 1, The Beginning of Change, which is available on Amazon. And not only that, but you can also pick up AWO Big Time Players Episode 2, Continuing to Grow. You can get both books. Not one, not the other one, but both books for $15.98 at Amazon. 2 books.
Hold on, before we go further, and I'm a businessman, and I'm talking to a businessman. Why is it $15.98, not $15.99?
Would you want the extra penny? Would you want to pay the extra penny? I'm trying to help you out in these hard economic times. I'm trying to help you out.
All right. I was just curious about the 98, but
Eric,
still a good price either way.
Eric, in what correctional facility was that picture taken?
My backyard.
I got a picture.
See, my company, AWO, thinks of the people. We care about the people, but we also need to make money. See, I'm somewhere in the middle between Vince McMahon and Tony Khan. I'm Tony McMahon.
All right, Adrian. Thank you for the call. We're about to wrap this up. We appreciate it. We'll continue this discussion in the gentleman discussion. Make sure when Mark's released this episode. And if you have any more suggestions for the gentleman's discussion, email us at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. We will talk to you later, Adrian. Have a good one, sir.
You do the same. Take care, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Gentlemen, that pretty much concludes the show. As my correctional facility mugshot, as Manny called it, was on the air doing that. Is there anything anyone else needs to have before we close the show out?
Should we ask the Marty Jannetty stories, or should we say that for a different day, man?
Save it for a different day, because I don't know the Marty Jannetty story. So with that being
No. So, Eric, I was drinking with Marty Jannetty. And RVD and Sabu were there. And they were getting hired as expected. When Mike Jannetty tells me that we gotta get some money off the Sandman.
He needs the money back. Sandman owed money, and we need to go in there right now. Considering that we were drinking and probably already under the influence of some severe narcotics. Hold on, Siri, calm down. So we go there, and we think we're going to run into the Sandman, and what? It's Jake the Snake Roberts and the Iron Sheik. So then I go, oh shit, we need to back up. And then out of the bathroom comes Scott Hall, and he has a gun. And Scott Hall says, is there a problem? And I go, everything is cool. Everything was cool until we went back to the bar with all those guys and started to party up again. And Marty Jannetty ended up shooting Scott Hall in the toe. Scott Hall lost the toe, and we ended up spending the rest of the night looking for that toe. But we don't remember what happened after that.
Long story short, Eric, we didn't get that $500.
This is like almost like a bad version of Harlem Nights and someone who owed me money. I don't know what the hell that was.
So we spent like an hour after the show telling random Marty Jannetty stories that didn't make any sense.
An hour, Eric. An hour. We should have recorded it and just put them out as random videos.
So what we implore people to do is to send us your Marty Jannetty stories.
Or RVD and Sabu stories, because I will also take. I was smoking it up with RVD and Sabu.
Yeah, you can just. These are total fiction. Just make them up. Just tell us your story, because everybody has a Marty Jannetty story. We're basically started with me and Manny. I was telling Manny, or vice versa, that I think my dream was to be a struggling indie wrestler and sharing a Marty Jannetty story and talking about how shitty it is on the indies and how like you just read it.
No. The idea was that we just tell really scripted bad shooting abuse where we're just cussing out old wrestlers.
Yeah, we're just making fun of just bad shoot interviews.
I would point out, I think this pandemic has made you guys go crazy and for the lack of work. And we have to end this show because soon, as you see, the lines of the sun will start creeping across my face, and we don't need that to happen. So anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this long-winded edition of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. All 40 of you, or maybe 35 of you who watched this video, I really appreciate it. But if you don't want to watch the video, you can always download.
Is it really 35? 35 already?
No, I don't know.
No, I don't think it's.
I'm just talking about my average, baby. I'm talking about my average. If you don't want to take the time to watch the video, remember that the audio version of this episode, which is my pride and joy, is available in Spotify, Apple, or even Amazon, and you can download it and listen to it any of your device that you listen to podcasts on. You know, you can even try to tell your smart devices, hey, however you call them by name, play this podcast and see if he come up. Let us know if that worked. With that being said, I'm Eric, and I don't know Marty Jannetty.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes, and Marty Jannetty owes me $2,000.
And I'm Marcus the Grand Finale. At some point, I thought I was Marty Jannetty.
And with that being said, Marty Jannetty will want you to stay sharp, so please stay sharp until next week, where Marty Jannetty shows up on this show and says, let's rock on. Peace.
I'm sure we can get him on a cameo for like $10 when he says rock on. Just say rock on.